errors. The program won't accept any input. All the data is unusable. We haven't found the cause yet. The chairman clutched his head in frustration. Damn it, what's the problem? Why is this happening? We've never had this issue before. Why now? Wait, he said, a chilling thought striking him. What if there's more than one bug? He abruptly stood and rushed to check the system. A sense of unease had been lingering within him, but he had reassured himself. At least the bug only appeared with that student. But even that wasn't necessarily good news. Ever since Chapter 3 had been released, he had been following it religiously, devouring every installment. He had even snuck into the student's house, driven by his obsession with the story, desperate to know why Chapter 56 hadn't been posted yet. It was on her laptop, so for personal reasons, the manager said, and a very petty reason at that, just to read the novel that student is writing, you decided to keep her here? Why? The chairman chuckled darkly, covering his mouth with his hand. Not keep her. Keep her alive. After I've seen the ending, I'll kill her. The manager was sweating profusely. I was against killing her from the start. And what about texting her, taunting her, casually revealing company secrets? It had all started as a way to indulge his twisted romantic whimsy. He had underestimated the student, a naive high school girl. What could she possibly do? He had just wanted to play with her until she finished the novel, then eliminate her. Heart rate is increasing, the manager said, his voice laced with confusion. But the total heart rate score is still 0. That's strange. The current rate is exceeding the total heart rate. This is bizarre. He sprawled on the sofa, a bitter thought twisting in his mind. I should have eliminated that student back then. He believed he could resolve everything with the simplest solution, make the student disappear. How difficult could it be? The plan had been shelved, all because he'd become captivated by the novel she was writing. A story with a massive fan base, enough to publish 4 volumes. A true masterpiece of heartbreak. If the author suddenly died, his beloved secondary character, Gray, would meet a tragic end. The chairman addressed the manager. Don't tell me you don't want Gray to die. I think Gray's death would make the story perfect. For ages, the death of a secondary character has been the hallmark of a truly unforgettable, heart-wrenching story. The two men debated the nuances of the story at length. At Sue Ae's house, she opened her wardrobe, her eyes scanning the clothes within. Sue Ae was busy choosing an outfit for her movie date with Go Eun-hyuk. This slip dress is a 70, a bit too childish. This blue dress is a 50. Is it too much? This black dress is too mature. Sue E was in a frenzy. This is getting weirder and weirder. What should I wear? Clothes lay discarded on the floor. Yu Lime entered, holding a neatly folded outfit. Look at this mess. What are you doing? Sue Ae blushed, a flustered cry escaping her lips. Why didn't you knock? Lime placed the clothes on the bed. Are you going somewhere? You don't need to know where I'm going. And I told you to stop doing my laundry. Lime inquired. A date? Sue Ae turned to surprise what? Slipping out. Lime picked up a floral print slip dress. This would look good on you, and it goes well with this cardigan. As she spoke, she held the dress up against Sue E. A wave of nostalgia washed over Sue E, a memory of their younger days, when they'd often pick out matching outfits together. Sue E pushed Lime's hand away. I could do it myself. A flicker of disappointment crossed Lime's face, but she smiled gently. Okay, she said, leaving the room. Sue Ae arrived at the meeting spot 20 minutes early, the area bustling with people. She was wearing the outfit Lime had chosen. Checking her reflection, Sue Ae thought, it's not too over the top, is it? She imagined Eun-hyuk dressed in his pajamas, laughing and asking, why are you so dressed up? A nervous flutter danced in her stomach. This hair clip is too much. No, definitely too much. With the swiftness of someone snatching a forbidden fruit, Sue Ae quickly removed it. A voice startled her. Why take it off? It looks good. Eun-hyuk approached from behind. Sue Ae's cheeks flushed crimson, the words echoing in her mind. He said it looks good. He said it looks good. He said it looks good. Flustered, she turned and fled, blurting out, You look even more handsome. Eun-hyuk stood there, feigning ignorance. What? Let's go, she urged. He'd heard her compliment loud and clear. A pleased blush warmed his own cheeks as he touched his neck, murmuring, handsome. Sue Ae sat in the waiting area, secretly watching Eun-hyuk buying popcorn and drinks at the concession stand. She thought to herself, this feels like a real date. Nearby, people began pointing at the tall, dark-clad figure, standing at the ticket counter. That guy in black, over there at the ticket counter. Sue Ae gasped. Don't tell me you're talking about Eun-hyuk. The two girls continued their hush gossip. Crazy handsome. One breathed. I mean seriously, It was insane. That feeling, it just hit me. Even 15 minutes later, I still remember it perfectly. Sue Ae, unfamiliar with this kind of reaction, found it all rather novel. She had to admit, though, Go Eun-hyuk was devastatingly handsome. The ticket seller, who moments before had been bellowing, "Line up, please," no pushing, transformed into a stammering fanboy the instant Eun-hyuk approached. "See, can I get you the combo, sir?" he squeaked, eyes practically glued to Eun-hyuk's face. A surge of pride swelled in Sue Ae's chest as she watched everyone swoon over him. Her nose practically tilted skyward. Good for him. "But what does Eun-hyuk being handsome have to do with you guys?" she muttered under her breath. Suddenly, she overheard one of the girls whisper, "Should I ask for his number?" Sue Ae's smugness evaporated, replaced by a defensive prickle. She couldn't let herself be outdone. But with his popularity, he must have tons of girls confessing to him, she thought, a wave of insecurity washing over her. And ex-girlfriends? Probably loads. And me? 0 popularity points. 1 confession. 1 ex-boyfriend. 1. Still 0 popularity points. And even with Minwoo, we just started dating. It wasn't even a real confession. A wave of frustration washed over Sue Ae. The girl approached Eun-hyuk and asked for his number, then returned to her friend. What did he say? Sue Ae, straining to hear, activated her Albert skill, her ears perking up. "He has a girlfriend," the girl sighed. "He's here watching a movie with her." So disappointing. What a waste. Sue Ae's jaw dropped. A girlfriend? What girlfriend? She thought, bewildered. Just then, Eun-hyuk walked over, holding a giant bucket of popcorn and a single drink with 2 straws already inserted. "Here," he said, "we'll share." That smooth operator, Sue Ae thought. Such a master of the little things. He knew exactly how to make the girl swoon. They walked into the theater together. As Sue Ae munched on popcorn, her thoughts raced. Logic whispered, "That's just the easiest way to let a girl down. Don't overthink it. Don't get your hopes up." But a nagging instinct clawed at her. Girlfriend. Girlfriend. Could it be me? Could it actually be me? But if so, does that mean he has another girlfriend? No way. He wouldn't be that shameless. Sue Ae turned her head, stealing a glance at Eun-hyuk, who was engrossed in the movie. First, she took in his handsome face. Then her gaze drifted down to his crisp clothes and the watch on his wrist. "He seems to put some effort into his appearance," she mused. Eun-hyuk caught her staring. He turned, and Sue Ae quickly looked away, flustered. He smiled. "What you looking at?" Sue Ae stammered, pointing at the screen. The movie. It's good. Really my style." On the giant screen, the 2 main characters were kissing passionately. Smooch. Smooch. Wah, buddy. Her eyes widened. What is going on? A 15-plus movie with this? Oh my goodness. They're really going at it. What did I just say? Really my style? Really my style? Really my style? Oh, good grief. Eun-hyuk chuckled at her adorable reaction. Looking up at the screen, Eun-hyuk also blushed. Sue Ae's expression was as if she had lost all affection. "What kind of movie is this with all this kissing?" she muttered. Stepping out of the cinema, Sue Ae's mind was still floating in the clouds. Eun-hyuk said, "This movie is a bit." Sue Ae immediately replied, "Yeah, right, exactly, so great, so great, so great, so great." In reality, she hadn't paid attention to anything but the kissing scenes. A passerby commented, "This movie is insanely bad. If this movie is good, then the worst movie of 2023 must be considered a masterpiece." I fell asleep, so I don't know what the plot is, haha. The kissing scene in the elevator kind of saved the whole movie. If it weren't for that scene, I would definitely pull out the director's hair. Sue Ae smiled and nodded, but inside, she wasn't happy. Honestly, she felt a bit embarrassed, but she tried to suppress it. After a while, the cinema area became too crowded, so the 2 of them went to the elevator across the hall to escape the throng. Sue Ae realized she was standing in a secluded corner. But is it too quiet like this? It's a bit awkward. Looking at him, he doesn't seem to be thinking anything. Or is it just me overthinking things? As the elevator doors opened, the scene from the movie flashed back into Sue Ae's mind. The male and female leads were embracing and kissing in the elevator. Oh my god, that's terrifying. But that's me and Eun-hyuk kissing. What the hell? Gouge my eyes out. Seeing Sue Ae still dazed, Eun-hyuk called out to her, "Why are you still standing there? Aren't you coming?" Sue Ae rushed into the elevator in a panic. Go quickly, go quickly. Don't be shy anymore." The elevator doors closed. The TV in the elevator was playing a promotional spot for July's featured film, Queen, produced by Marong. The elevator made a scraping sound, then shook violently, and came to a complete stop. What's happening? What's happening? Su Ae panicked. Eun-hyuk said, I think the elevator is stuck. He pressed the emergency button. Hello? Is this the management center? What's the matter? I think the elevator is stuck. It's stuck between the 5th and 6th floors of Section B. Yes, please wait a moment. We'll contact the technicians. Please wait. They'll come and open the door. They'll fix it immediately. Please wait a moment. Eun-hyuk turned to Su Ae. They said we have to wait a while. By now, Su Ae was scared out of her wits. How much longer do we have to wait? The atmosphere was stifling. Their hands accidentally brushed against each other. Su Ae became flustered and quickly moved to the side. We can only wait. My legs are getting numb from standing so long, Eun-hyuk also stepped back, leaning against the opposite wall of the elevator. Their eyes met, sparks flying. Su Ae still felt something was off. Sweat trickled down her forehead. Looking at Eun-hyuk, she noticed he was staring intently at her. Su Ae's face flushed crimson. Her heart beat faster. Eun-hyuk, why are you looking at me like that? The elevator shook even more violently. The lights went out. Su Ae stumbled and fell to the floor, covering her ears and screaming. Su Ae, are you okay? Su Ae lifted her head. She saw the light on the display screen flicker on and off, finally displaying the word Marong. Panic seized Su Ae. She remembered what Chairman Marong had shown her. A vision of herself falling from a great height, dying from an unknown cause. Trembling, Su Ae stammered, the elevator, it won't fall, will it? It won't fall? Eun-hyuk sat down beside her, offering comfort. Don't worry, he reassured her. This elevator is primarily pulled up by steel cables. Every floor has safety devices installed, so even if it were to fall, it wouldn't hit the ground directly. The probability of it actually plummeting is 1 in a million. Practically zero. Eun-hyuk, Su Ae countered, her voice laced with anxiety. How can you be so sure it's 100% safe? Falling would still hurt. She added, a touch of disbelief in her tone. You're talking as if you've actually been in a falling elevator before. Eun-hyuk slid down to the floor. If you're scared, he offered, sit on my lap. Su Ae looked up, her eyes wide with surprise at his suggestion. He continued, a playful grin spreading across his face. If you're in my lap, it'll hurt less if we fall, right? How can you still joke around at a time like this? She exclaimed. But even as the words left her mouth, Su Ae, like a startled bird, quickly nestled herself onto Eun-hyuk's lap, trembling uncontrollably. Eun-hyuk gently stroked her hair. It's okay, he soothed. It's okay. The elevator, lacking air conditioning, was stiflingly hot in the summer heat. The confined metal box, sealed on all sides, trapped the stagnant air. In this close proximity, Eun-hyuk's body heat radiated, warming Su Ae. His tall, solid frame, coupled with his comforting presence, made her feel safe, and she clung to him tightly. Despite this, a part of her knew that if the elevator truly plummeted, even Eun-hyuk's embrace wouldn't save her. A thought flitted through Su Ae's mind. Since when did I start seeking a sense of security from Eun-hyuk? He had always been a disconcerting presence, a source of anxiety and tension. Abruptly, she pushed him away. Do you think you're an airbag or something? Embarrassed, she mumbled. Thanks for volunteering to be my human airbag, though. Are you making fun of me? He asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. Flustered, Su Ae quickly denied it. No, I'm not. Eun-hyuk couldn't help but chuckle. Su Ae's expression turned serious as she looked directly at him. I really am grateful, she said sincerely. I wasn't joking. Eun-hyuk leaned closer, their faces inches apart, both flushed, their hearts pounding in their chests. Just as they were about to recreate the passionate kiss from the movie, the lights flickered back on, and a voice called out from beyond the doors. Is everyone all right in there? Su Ae scrambled towards the door, her voice filled with relief. We're fine. We're okay. Get me out of here. Eun-hyuk, still lost in the romantic moment they had shared, remained frozen in place. Meanwhile, Yulan called Do-hwa aside. He approached her, asking, What's up? Where are they? I told them to meet at 6 o'clock, Lime replied. Do-hwa walked over and sat down in the chair opposite her, glancing at his phone. It was only 5:19 p.m. Annoyed, he questioned, Why did you tell me 5 o'clock? Lime's eyes crinkled in a playful smile. I want to talk to you for a bit, just the two of us. The phrase, just the two of us, sent a wave of unease through Do-hwa. He eyed Lime warily. "You're such a creep," he muttered. As he spoke, he checked his phone again, noticing a new photo Sue Ae had posted from the cinema. Lime's face fell, a look of vulnerability replacing her playful demeanor. "Am I a creep?" she asked, her voice soft. "What else am I? Why do you keep confessing your feelings to me?" Duwa sighed in exasperation. "I don't want to hear it. And as for things like Shim Sue E, she's practically throwing clothes at herself just to get ready for a date with Eun Hyuk. So what?" Lime asked. Duwa's irritation grew. "So what? It's weird, you know. I find it incredibly weird." Lime chuckled. "Weird, huh? So you think I'm some kind of crazy pervert getting my kicks out of picking out clothes for a girl who's about to go on a date with the guy she likes? Is that it?" Lime deliberately provoked Duwa, curious to see his reaction. "Exactly," he replied. "Sorry to disappoint you," Lime responded, "but I'm not crazy, and I'm not a pervert. I'm being genuinely nice to Sue. I truly want her to wear the best outfit when she goes out with him." Duwa rested his chin on his hand. "Pervert," he said. "That's exactly what you are. Or maybe you have multiple personalities. First, it was Kang Min-woo. Now it's Sue. Why?" Lime's face darkened. He'd struck a nerve. She tried to argue. "This time it's different. Kang Min-woo belonged to Sue Ae, so you could say I stole him from her. But I liked Eun Hyuk first. So this time you're planning to steal him from Sue Ae? Steal? Eun Hyuk doesn't even belong to Sue E yet." Exasperated, Duwa could only manage. "Are you insane?" Sue Ae and Eun Hyuk stepped out of the elevator. Chairman Marong was now sound asleep on the sofa. Remembering what had happened in the elevator, Sue Ae suddenly flipped off the elevator's security camera. "Screw you," she muttered, "ruining our moment." The sleeping Chairman Marong, completely oblivious, seemed to absorb the negative energy. "What bad luck," he mumbled in his sleep. "So unfair." At the bus stop, Eun Hyuk tried to see Sue Ae home, but she refused. "I told you I'd walk you home." No, he insisted. "I should walk you." "Stop being stubborn," she said. "I can go home by myself. I'm used to it." With that, she firmly pushed Eun Hyuk onto the bus. The bus pulled away. Breathing a sigh of relief, Sue Ae hailed a taxi. Just as she was about to get in, she noticed an advertisement from Orang's band on the side of the cab. Startled, she quickly withdrew her hand. "Marang? Sorry, I can't take this one." She bowed apologetically. Looking around and seeing no other taxis, Sue Ae decided to walk home to be safe. Eun Hyuk opened his front door, and seeing 2 pairs of women's shoes and 1 pair of men's shoes, knew instantly his father had brought a woman home again. Melodious music drifted from his father's room. He walked to the door and saw his father composing music. He turned and headed upstairs. On his wall was a framed newspaper article about his aristocratic father, piano professor Ko Tae-ho, who had been selected as a judge for the Handel music competition for 6 consecutive years. Eun Hyuk lay down, put on his headphones, and cranked up the volume to drown out his father's cheesy piano playing. The next day at school, Min-woo walked with heavy steps and ran into Lime. He raised his hand in greeting, but Lime, laughing and talking with her friends, ignored him completely, walking right past as if he were invisible. "Damn it," Min-woo thought. "She won't answer any of my texts or calls. I look for her, she hides. Now she's pretending I don't even exist." He remembered Lime's words. "Sue doesn't care about you anymore, and neither do I." Is this all because of Sue Ae? He wondered. Watching Sue Ae sitting next to Eun Hyuk, laughing and chatting happily, fueled Min-woo's anger. He thought, Shim Sue Ae coldly dumped me. And go Eun Hyuk's indifference towards Lime completely blindsided her. He gritted his teeth, cursing Sue Ae under his breath. "You're such a bitch." He returned to his seat, burying his face in his desk. Around him, the classroom buzzed with excited chatter. "Where are you guys going for the holidays?" "The beach, of course. The valley is the best." "I'm going alone, me too." Sue Ae approached Eun Hyuk, whispering, Hey, come to the art room after lunch, okay?" "The art room? Why?" "Because I want to ask you about yesterday." Eun Hyuk nodded. "Okay. Anyone else have questions?" "What about you, Sue Ae? Where do you want to go?" "Me? I want to go to the beach too." 12:10 p.m. The bell rang. Lunchtime. The school's PA system crackled to life. We'll now play a requested song. And with that, we conclude today's broadcast. Min-woo entered the broadcasting room, but it was empty. He looked around, spotting a group of classmates huddled behind the curtains. They glanced nervously at each other, breathing a sigh of relief. It's Kang Min-woo. Why didn't you close the door?" The teacher just came in. We almost got busted. Hey, Min-woo, close the door and come in. Min-woo responded, using the broadcasting room to smoke. Smoking in school is against the rules. It's even more ridiculous that we're breaking underage smoking laws. What are you going to do if you get caught? What kind of irony is this? Whatever, Min-woo. You never come when we call you anyway. You're crazy. He's been acting all high and mighty lately. Yeah, that guy likes to show off. He probably shows up twice out of every 10 times we call him. What are you guys whispering about? Stop being so dramatic. One of them spoke up. Give me a lighter. Someone tossed a lighter, which clattered to the floor. See? None of you could catch it. Can't even throw properly. Bending down to retrieve the lighter, he unknowingly flipped on the broadcasting microphone. TCH, that idiot. Can't even catch. Your throw is even worse. In the art room, Eun-hyuk was startled by Soo Ae's intense gaze as he entered. She asked, "Are you okay?" "I'm talking about last night on the way home. Did anything happen? Did someone follow you? Did you have an accident? Are you hurt?" Eun-hyuk was confused. "Why are you asking all of a sudden? What's wrong? Did something happen to you?" Worried, Eun-hyuk looked her over. Soo Ae stammered, It's nothing. I just had a bad dream last night." Static crackled from the broadcasting room. "Oh yeah, you saw Shim Soo Ae at the CGV, right? And she was with that guy too. Ugh, that bastard. Can we not talk about him? Just seeing them together makes me sick. That's why I ran out here. So, can you please stop with the pointless comments about them? Are you looking for a fight? Are you playing dumb?" That bitch betrayed Kang Min-woo. She's such a whore. Well, what? Everyone's a whore now? Those bitchy girls, even when they leave, they should at least leave some kind of trace, whether it's hatred or regret. Huh, you mean she didn't leave any impression at all? Yeah, there's one thing, and that's humiliation. She's such a bitch. Why do you even know her? Soo Ae is just a pitiful girl. Oh, this guy, I'm wondering the same thing. That girl is so annoying. Yeah, this is the first time Eun-hyuk stormed off, wanted to teach them a lesson. Soo Ae trembled as she approached the piano. Seeing her shoulders shake with sobs, Eun-hyuk couldn't bring himself to leave. He picked up a pair of headphones and placed them over Soo Ae's ears, plugging them into the piano. He sat down beside her and began to play. Soo Ae's tears fell like rain onto the keys. They remained like that, one playing, one weeping. Heavy footsteps approached the broadcasting room. The door burst open, revealing Baek Do-hwa. Do-hwa immediately switched off the radio broadcast. Damn it. Everyone was startled. One of them, spotting Do-hwa first, waved to the others. Why is Baek Do-hwa here? Du-hwa sigue de la ville. You idiots, you've broadcast that nonsense all over the school. Huh? What did we say? We're screwed. Totally screwed. Kang Min-woo was the most frightened. He gulped, trying to maintain his composure. What? I was telling the truth. I didn't lie or make anything up. To be precise, I did a great job. Because I absolutely despise your thick faces. It's disgusting. Do-hwa couldn't hold back a curse. Damn it. You're the one with the thick face. You two-timing bastard. What did you say? Kang Min-woo stammered, fear gripping him. Those behind him whispered, "Hey, what did he say?" The others murmured amongst themselves. Was Kang Min-woo the one who cheated first? He gritted his teeth. What the hell are you talking about? And what does this have to do with you anyway? Why are you interfering? This is ridiculous. Du vas stupid closet. I'm ridiculous. You look more like a dancing clown. Look at your pathetic self after Lime dumped you. Min-woo felt like he'd been superglued to the spot. Do-hwa scoffed. Hilarious. You really are a clown. Min-woo trembled with rage, lunging forward and punching Do-hwa in the face. Huh, you provoked me. Do-hwa laughed even harder. Now I have a legitimate reason to beat you to a pulp. Do-hwa launched himself forward like a warrior, a flurry of punches and kicks landing with a thud, thud, thud. Whack! Min-woo crumpled to the ground, but Do-hwa continued his onslaught. Stop! Damn it! We're screwed. The teachers are coming. In the piano room, Eun-hyuk stopped playing when he heard the commotion from the radio broadcast, sweat beading on his forehead. For Soo Ae, he had fought his fear, and without realizing it, he had started playing again. He clenched his fists. Beside him, Soo Ae spoke. You said you didn't know how to play. Eun-hyuk turned to see her eyes swollen like peaches. Soo Ae continued. You played beautifully. Eun-hyuk looked at her with alarm. But your eyes. What about my eyes? Tears still streamed down Soo Ae's face. She quickly turned away, wiping them. It's not because of Kang Min-woo. Really, it's not. Well, maybe it is. It definitely looks like it. But anyway, these are just angry tears. Damn that jerk. Yeah, Kang Min-woo. That damn bastard. He makes you cry every single day. Eun-hyuk's gentle, warm voice flustered Soo Ae. He reached out and wiped away her tears. His concern both embarrassed and comforted her. The bell signaling the end of class rang out. Ring, ring, ring. How can I even show my face back in class? Soo Ae mumbled, her face still buried in her hands, despondent. I'm so embarrassed I could die. Eun-hyuk thought hard, searching for a solution. Soo Ae scribbled a note asking to be excused. She stood in the hallway, waiting for Eun-hyuk to approach with her bag. Here, he said, handing it to her. Go home and rest. Don't worry about it. Thank you, she whispered. With that, Soo Ae stumbled out of the school building. Inside the classroom, a cacophony of voices rose. What's going on? Why hasn't the teacher come in yet? Kang Min-woo is such a jerk. I bet he doesn't even know what happened yet. Even if he does, that was a low blow. Going behind her back like that is just too much. But then again, Shim Soo-yi did dump Kang Min-woo for someone new, and with Eun-hyuk too. I guess if I were him, I might do the same thing. A gaggle of girls whispered amongst themselves, their eyes glued to the handsome Eun-hyuk from afar. Eun-hyuk tapped his fingers on his desk, lost in thought. He remembered a time when Soo Ae had cried over Kang Min-woo. Suddenly, Eun-hyuk stood up and walked out of the classroom. Eun-hyuk, what are you doing? Where are you going? Class is about to start. Don't tell me you're skipping. Take me with you. Kwang Min raced to the door, watching Eun-hyuk disappear down the hallway like a bat out of hell. In the faculty office. What was that all about just now? You did that on purpose, didn't you? No, sir. We didn't mean to. Honestly, we don't know when it was turned on, but it really was broadcast to the whole school. Oh man, this is crazy. Our reputations are ruined. The teacher roared. Will you all be quiet? What I meant was, who told you to do that? I'm talking about the smoking. Smoking in the classroom. Don't you know that's against the rules? And on top of that, you're all underage, which means double the punishment. You bunch of delinquents. We're sorry, sir. The group stood in a line, heads bowed submissively, as the teacher berated them. The teacher's gaze suddenly landed on Du-hwa. The young man quickly averted his eyes. Baek Du-hwa, you were sporting a black eye just the other day, and now you're fighting again? Is fighting your hobby? Are you a thug? What are you even doing here? Were you smoking with them, too? The teacher reached out a hand, as if to inspect Du-hwa. Du-hwa instantly recoiled. I wasn't smoking, sir. Then what in the world were you doing here? This isn't your personal broadcasting studio. Why were you fighting? Cat got your tongue. Du-hwa scowled. They hit me first, so I fought back, sir. Upon hearing this explanation, the teacher's blood pressure spiked. He nearly fainted. Good heavens! From now on, for 1 week, each of you will submit 10 written apologies to me every day. The group folded their arms and replied in unison, yes, sir. And of course, you'll all receive demerits, and you'll be on cleaning duty for a month. Understood? Oh, my neck. Ugh. One student sighed. Ouch. The teacher exploded. Who just made that sound? Anyone who has a problem, step forward. Everyone chorused. No one, sir. Get back to class. All of you. Baek Du-hwa, you will stay here, face down on the floor, in a push-up position, until you've had some time to reflect on your actions. You are not to set foot in a classroom until then. What's a thug like you doing in school anyway? Min-woo opened the door to the faculty office and found Lime standing there, blocking his way, staring him down. Before Min-woo could react, Lime slapped him hard across the face. Serves him right, Du-hwa thought, a smirk playing on his lips. Instant karma, Kang Min-woo. But what is you Lime thinking? The teachers in the office gaped, jaws dropping. The homeroom teacher yelled, Lime, what did you just do? What is going on here? What's with kids these days? Have you all lost your minds? Good heavens, my blood pressure. Lime addressed Kang Min-woo directly. Apologize to Soo Ae. I said apologize to Soo Ae. Min-woo finally managed to stammer. You don't see me? I see you, Lime retorted, but I don't care. A low blow, and it infuriated Min-woo. It's because of this crazy girl that I'm in this mess. He gritted his teeth, a cold glint in his eyes, and grabbed Lime roughly. You're the one who should apologize, you psycho. Think about it. Is Shim Soo Ae upset because of me, or is she upset because of you? That's why she's so heartbroken. What a bizarre pair. Two psychos together. The teacher, ruler in hand, barked. How long are you two going to keep this up? What are you doing? Are you insane? Another teacher chimed in. That's right, Min-woo. Let's go. Min-woo tightened his grip on Lime, snarling. You're the crazy one, you psycho. When he finally released her, Min-woo had scratched Lime's arm, drawing blood. One wondered if he had rabies. Other students pulled Kang Min-woo away, urging him, calm down, don't lose it. Du-hwa watched the scene unfold, disgusted. This is such a mess. He recalled Su Ae telling him about the sordid story between Lime and Kong Min-woo, and he desperately wanted to know why Su Ae hadn't dumped him. Why? Because I promised to stay with him until the end of the road. Hearing Su Ae's ridiculous explanation, Doo-wah couldn't help but laugh. Don't laugh, she snapped. I'm telling you I know. But he betrayed you. He didn't make that promise. I did, Su Ae replied quietly. Doo-wah was stunned. He thought she was foolish, but a lovable kind of foolish. Su Ae boarded the bus, unaware that Eun-hyuk had followed her on board, taking a seat in the row behind her. Su Ae put on her headphones and started listening to music. Eun-hyuk texted her, "Where are you going?" "I'm going for a drive," she replied. "On the bus?" he asked. "Yeah, on the bus, huh?" "Okay, have a nice drive then." Su Ae, seemingly lost in her own world, giggled softly. She stared out the window, lost in her music, while Eun-hyuk watched her quietly from behind. Suddenly, he noticed her shoulders trembling. He thought she was just cry, he thought. As Eun-hyuk stood up, he realized Su Ae had fallen asleep. As the bus rounded a corner, Su Ae's head lolled, and she nearly hit the window. Just in time, Eun-hyuk reached out and caught her head. She looked up at the sunlight streaming through the window and saw Eun-hyuk shielding her eyes with his hand. She woke up, her gaze drifting to the small television screen on the bus, and then realizing that Eun-hyuk was sitting behind her, blocking the sun for her. She turned around and took his hand. Her heavy heart and chaotic thoughts suddenly felt lighter. Even if others gossip, even if my reputation is tarnished, one thing is certain. Eun-hyuk will always be by my side. His unconditional trust has broken the chains that have held me captive for so long. This new relationship has given me the courage to take steps I never dared to before. Su Ae took Eun-hyuk's hand and said, "No matter what I." At this moment, the chairman was sitting in a car, iPad in hand, reviewing the security footage from the elevator and the notes Su Ae had left. He remembered it well. What do you think of this middle schooler's scheme? Ever since Su Ae arrived at Marong, letters had been arriving daily on the 31st floor. All from Su Ae. The manager replied, "As expected, even a small worm will wriggle. We should stop here. I think this is enough." "You bastard. Are you calling me a criminal?" "Indeed." I gave the manager a perfect score. "Honestly, the letters keep repeating the same line. Don't you think it's too much that you want me dead?" "What nonsense is she spouting? Since when have I wanted her dead?" "It's all in her imagination. Can't I even scare her a little?" "A little scare?" "It's terrifying." Perhaps she's talking about the elevator incident. The elevator incident? Is that it? How could it not be you, Chairman? Even I thought it was you. Could the screen have intentionally stopped there? A misunderstanding. In other words, I'm being misunderstood by a middle schooler, mentally terrorized for something I didn't even do. How ridiculous. In the car, the chairman chuckled. "I just finished my tomato and eggs. This is the first time I've been misunderstood like this. How refreshing." Red alert. The car stopped. The manager looked through the rearview mirror. "You've been keeping a close eye on Miss Su Ae lately, haven't you?" "Yes, I have to observe." "Do you intend to continue like this?" "I don't know." "Until this is resolved." A sudden boom. The car exploded, engulfed in flames. Eun-hyuk shielded Su Ae with his body. They both fell to the ground. Eun-hyuk was injured, bleeding profusely. Su Ae's eyes fluttered open. She saw someone approaching. It was the chairman of Marong. He covered his mouth, the male lead shielding the female lead with his body. How unexpected. I never thought I'd witness this scene in person. He chuckled, delighted. Beautiful, beautiful. But he quickly feigned composure, muttering to himself, "Don't overthink it. Don't find it interesting." Got it? Shim Su Ae's heart rate is 78, but the total is still 0. This is getting complicated. Ever since I discovered Su Ae has to be eliminated, or I'm doomed. I created this system. I'm responsible for eliminating the anomaly that disrupts the balance of the ecosystem. And that's Shim Su Ae. Yes, that's my responsibility. But why has everything become so chaotic? He looked at Eun-hyuk and Su Ae lying on the ground, a glint in his eyes. He sat down, continuing to mutter, "I shouldn't have let her go looking for a heart. I'm exhausted. Who knew she'd actually find the real thing? I did that to encourage her to write her novel. Who knew her schedule would become less and less frequent? Anyway, today's incident wouldn't have happened if she hadn't gone crazy sending those letters." When he saw Su Ae's heart rate actually increase, he was surprised. When Su Ae sought him out, he deliberately avoided her. He shoved a piece of paper at Su Ae. "Don't look for me," he said, until I figure out what to do with you. I'll show up, even if you don't want to see me. As fire trucks and ambulances arrived, he turned and disappeared into the swirling chaos. At the hospital, Soo-yi stirred back to consciousness, the memory of Eun-hyuk shielding her flashing through her mind. She glanced at the bed beside hers. Empty. Where's Eun-hyuk? She whispered, a thread of panic tightening in her chest. Soo-yi swung her legs off the bed and found a crumpled piece of paper clutched in her hand. The words scrawled on it sent a chill down her spine. This is all your fault. Don't look for me. Consider this a warning. Ignoring the throbbing in her head, Soo-yi went in search of Eun-hyuk. She questioned a passing nurse, who directed her to the treatment room. The memory of the impact, the feeling of a sharp blow to her face, returned with a sickening lurch. I shouldn't have dragged Eun-hyuk into this, she thought, guilt gnawing at her. It's all my fault. Sinking onto a chair in the waiting area, Soo-yi berated herself. It's all my fault. Eun-hyuk is hurt because of me. I'm a walking time bomb, and I just had to go and hug him. Tears streamed down her face. It's all my fault, all because I was greedy, wanting things I shouldn't have. The door opened, and Eun-hyuk limped towards her. Soo-yi, he asked, his voice laced with concern. Are you okay? Seeing his bruised and battered face, Soo-yi's guilt intensified, her tears flowing freely. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. What am I going to do? Hoo. Eun-hyuk knelt down in front of her. What's wrong? He tried to joke. Does my face look that bad? His lighthearted tone only amplified her turmoil. Gratitude and guilt warred within her, a painful knot in her stomach. Seeing her continued distress, Eun-hyuk tried to comfort her. I'm fine, really. Are you still hurting? But Soo-yi couldn't stop crying. A text message popped up from Ah-jin. Are you okay? Soo-yi's phone, however, was beyond repair. It had shattered against the railing during the chaos. Go see a doctor, Ah-jin thought, her worry growing. Just like your owner. Ah-jin waited, but there was no reply from Soo-yi. Yiseo scrolled through the messages, anxiety gnawing at her. The group chat was buzzing with concerned inquiries about Soo-yi, but there was still no response. Yeah, she's not answering her phone either. It's probably off. Maybe we should go to her house? Where would she even go? She can't just disappear. She should at least tell us what's going on. Min-ji and others chimed in, their voices rising in panic. What happened? We don't even know what's going on. Suddenly we're being called homewreckers. Ah-jin, seeing the messages, felt a surge of anger. She fired back a response. I know you're upset, but take back those nasty words right now. Do you actually believe what Kang Min-woo said? Do you really think Soo-yi would cheat? I don't believe it. Ah-jin, Soo-yi's closest friend, stood up for her. The next day, Soo-yi walked into the classroom. All eyes were on her, whispers filling the air. Min-ji simply watched, her expression unreadable. Taking her seat, Soo-yi felt a strange sense of grim satisfaction. Just as I predicted, she muttered to herself. Now I'm either the temptress or the victim, right? At least they're not outright cursing me, so I guess that's something. Eun-hyuk entered the classroom, his leg bandaged. The other students erupted in questions. What happened? Eun-hyuk, what's wrong with your leg? Soo-yi turned, her gaze locking with Eun-hyuk's. The whispers started again, laced with surprise. What's going on? Eun-hyuk, are you okay? How did this happen? Poor guy, reduced to a rag in just one day. I just fell down the stairs. Kwang-min burst into laughter at her words. What? Ha, fell down the stairs. Wow, that's serious, huh? Soo-yi found it odd. Yesterday, Eun-hyuk's injuries hadn't seemed this severe. A classmate approached, feigning concern. Eun-hyuk, what happened to you? Oh dear, that looks painful. Are you all right? Soo-yi muttered, bewildered. How can he fake it this badly? Does Eun-hyuk have some kind of attention-seeking complex? He definitely wasn't this hurt yesterday. Eun-hyuk glanced at Soo-yi, a small smile playing on his lips as he raised a hand to cover them. Suddenly, it clicked for Soo-yi. It was all for her. Chapter 67. The teacher strode into the classroom. What's going on here? Why are you all huddled together? Didn't you hear the bell? Back to your seats. Yes, sir, the class chorused. By lunchtime, Soo-yi had a visceral understanding of what it felt like to have all eyes on her. She'd never experienced this level of attention, not since her first-month birthday party. And the reason for all the stares? This ridiculously handsome guy. Him, Soo-yi hissed. Why are you sitting here? Go back to your seat. Do you want the whole world to know you're the male lead in that rumor? The more flustered Soo-yi became, the calmer Eun-hyuk remained. He didn't say a word, just continued quietly working on his assignments. This guy is adding fuel to the fire. Honestly, just keep wearing those headphones, why don't you? Live your whole life like that. Su Ae overheard a whispered conversation. Clearly, Shim Su Ae has moved on to Eun Hyuk. But why is she yelling at him? They broke up. Who she dates is her business. I mean, who knows what happened after they broke up, or even while she was still dating her ex. Eun Hyuk's voice cut through the whispers. That's not it. I'm the one pursuing her. Su Ae's jaw dropped. And not just hers. The entire classroom erupted in murmurs. Eun Hyuk, what are you saying? What nonsense are you spouting? Ha! Did you hear that? Having dropped his bombshell, he looked utterly unfazed. The girl who'd been gossiping paled, realizing Eun Hyuk had heard everything. Oh no, he heard me. Doo-wah appeared behind them, making the two girls jump. I thought you two were doing that on purpose. If not, keep your mouth shut. Terrified, the girls stammered. Oh, okay. Su Yi turned to her desk mate, exasperated. We just got publicly ridiculed by them. Her desk mate shrugged. Yeah, but he's so handsome. Whatever he says is right. Doo-wah sat down across from them. Why did you let them talk about you like that? It's infuriating. His rival had arrived. Eun Hyuk removed his headphones. The moment Doo-wah appeared, the entire class, and even passers-by in the hallway, stopped to stare. Two of the most popular students in school, sitting together, one sporting dramatic injuries. It was like a neon sign flashing. Look at us. Su Ae felt dizzy. Is this a dream? This has to be a dream. A nightmare. Doo-wah glanced at Eun Hyuk. Hey, what's with the get-up? Eun Hyuk bristled, sensing mockery. Get-up? It's all right. Better than that thing over there. He continued his sarcastic attack. Looks like something a fishmonger would wear. That's not a get-up. That's a fashion disaster. A disaster that crawled out of the bottom of the barrel. Doo-wah closed his eyes, fury simmering beneath the surface. Keep it together. Keep it together. Bottom of the barrel? Su Ae watched in silence as the two boys bickered. Unfazed by the challenge, Doo-wah replied, thanks for your concern. He glanced at Su Ae as if to say, see? Then he nodded, conceding, I've met my match. Eun Hyuk smiled sweetly. You're good, but you should learn to maintain your image. Doo-wah retorted with a smile of his own. Who goes around with their face all scarred up like that? The two continued their bickering. So noisy, with everyone around them staring. Sui couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed both of the troublesome boys and dragged them out of the classroom. Come on, let's go. Shoving Doo-wah, Su Ae said, go back to your class. Eun Hyuk, hands tucked in his pockets, added smugly, yeah, get lost. Go back to class. What we're doing is none of your business. Not wanting Eun Hyuk to gloat for too long, Su Ae pushed him away as well. You go back to your seat too. Hurry up. Both of you, stay away from me. Do you hear? I don't want everyone staring. The sly Eun Hyuk said, all right, I'll go back. So, how about we go to the convenience store? As Eun Hyuk played the pity card, holding out his hand. Help me, my leg hurts. It finally dawned on Su Yi why he'd been exaggerating his injuries. This manipulative pretty boy, she muttered to herself, I've been tricked. Witnessing this from behind, Doo-wah, channeling his inner tough guy, pushed Eun Hyuk away from Su Ae and then hoisted her onto his own back. Eun Hyuk glared at the interloper. What are you doing? Doo-wah retorted, annoyed. Why should a delicate girl like her have to support you? Limping theatrically, Eun Hyuk replied, none of your business. My body may be weak, but my spirit is strong. The scene was so ridiculous. Sui felt like she might just faceplant into the nearest ditch. The two boys, now side by side, turned to look at Su Ae. What are you standing there for? Come on. Su Ae, watching them speak in unison, couldn't help but laugh. All right, let's go. Back at home, Su Ae opened her workbook, but couldn't focus. She remembered her friend's words. I don't think I've seen the messages yet. I thought she'd tell me about this first thing when she got to school. Ugh, they're definitely gossiping about how he got dumped. But don't tell me it's true. Shuae, Jemlin paused. A wave of sadness washed over her that even her close friends doubted her. Doo-wah came over and asked, Kang Ah-jin and Hwang Min-seo, are they your friends? Su Ae wasn't ready to answer back Doo-wah's question. She thought to herself, yes, they are my friends, because I haven't explained anything to them, or maybe they don't believe me, and that makes me sad. Eun Hyuk said, maybe they just don't understand you. She remembered Kang Min-woo saying that the better someone knew her, the less likely they were to believe her. Even though Eun Hyuk didn't continue, Su Ae understood what he meant. But his comforting words couldn't completely ease her troubled mind. Sue Ae flipped open her notebook, where it read, Sue Ae, what are you having for lunch today? Today's special is stew. Let's go out for sushi. I don't know. So I just asked to be excused. You're the only one who understands me, lol. Kang Ah-jin always knew how to make Sue Ae feel better. Tears welling up, she decided to call Ah-jin on her other, brick-like phone. It's me. I know. Oh, tomorrow's lunch won't be good. Let's eat out. The best side dish tomorrow is acorn jelly. So, how about we go for sushi? Sue Ae choked back a sob. I didn't cheat. I know. Are you crying? Did I say something wrong? That jerk is the one who cheated. Sobi watch. You're saying he cheated? Kang Min-woo. Yes, it wasn't me. It was that jerk. I'm sorry I didn't tell you before. I didn't want to put you in a difficult position. That's not the point. It's not that you put us in a difficult position. It's that we were worried about you. Okay then, I'm sorry. Mid-conversation, her eyes fell on her father's phone lying on the table. Picking it up, she found a note. Your phone is fixed. Use it for another year, sweetie. Turning it on, she was greeted by a barrage of notifications. 137 messages from her 3 best friends, her parents, and Lam, along with 48 spam messages and a string of missed calls. Sue Ae had just finished a call when Ah-jin's steadfast voice came through the speaker. I believe you. Then, more practically, and don't forget you owe me for lunch tomorrow. Sue Ae opened Ah-jin's messages, a smile gracing her lips. I knew it wasn't true. Then, with a touch of playful generosity, fine, I concede. What do you want? It's on me. The next morning, Sue Ae spoke wearily. Should I post something to clear things up? Eun-hyuk and Do-wah both turned to look at her. The 3 of them perched on a bench in the schoolyard, eating ice cream. Do-wah scoffed. Even if you do, no one will believe you. Eun-hyuk glared at him. Way to be supportive, jerk. That's so helpful. Sue Ae bristled. How can you be so sure? Since when did people start preferring juicy gossip over the truth? So what am I supposed to do? Just stay quiet and let everyone think what they want. Who said anything about staying quiet and letting them run their mouths? The best thing to do right now isn't to clarify, it's to fight fire with fire. Rumor with rumor. Eun-hyuk, still eating his ice cream, stared intently at Do-wah. Do-wah shivered under the weight of his adoring gaze. What? Eun-hyuk asked. How do we do that? Do-wah responded with action. The school's buzzing again. Look, it's on Baek Do-wah's Facebook. Check it out. What's going on? Why is everyone freaking out? What happened? Baek Do-wah posted a picture. He tagged Eun-hyuk and Sue Ae. Uncharacteristic for someone of his reputation, Do-wah rarely posted anything. His profile only had 2 posts, the most recent from last year. And yet, some unknown force had apparently spurred him into a flurry of social media activity. Baek Do-wah had just uploaded a new picture with the caption, Photo by Go Eun-hyuk. The picture showed Eun-hyuk beaming, clutching a stuffed rabbit he'd just won after spending a small fortune at the claw machine. The next picture was of Shim Sue Ae, the powerhouse herself, midair, executing a flying kick. The caption, ha ha. He was already the talk of the school, and now, by publicly associating with the 2 of them, he'd thrown gasoline on the fire of gossip. OMG, have you guys seen this picture? No way. Quick, I just saw something crazy. Which one of you has seen this already? Roll call, people, roll call. What in the world did I just see? Wait, is that my husband Baek Do-wah with Go Eun-hyuk? My eyes have been blessed. Since when were they so close? This is the first time I've seen them in a picture together. Well, they're both friends with Lime. But who's that other person? That's not Lime. That's Shim Sue Ae, the one who supposedly cheated on Kang Min-woo. And she's hanging out with Go Eun-hyuk. What? Hold on. Don't jump to conclusions. They're just friends. Baek Do-wah had a point. Trying to correct the rumors was proving utterly useless. When Sue Ae's name came up in a conversation with Ah-jin, surrounded by gossiping classmates, Ah-jin had fiercely defended her. Shim Sue Ae isn't like that. But the whispers continued, doubts still lingering in the air. I know. Ah-jin had sighed, defeated. Why won't anyone believe me? Sue Ae murmured gratefully, it's okay. The rumor about Shim Sue Ae being a homewrecker was quickly overshadowed by other, fresher gossip, thanks to the dazzling presence of certain handsome mappas. The cafeteria buzzed with excited chatter. Look, it's Baek Do-wah. It's him. He's really famous. The room thrummed with his name, the air thick with whispers. Sue Ae leaned closer to Do-wah, her voice low. I think they're mentioning my name too. Do-wah handed her a carton of ice cream. That Facebook thing, it's a bit much, don't you think? Was that really a good idea? It blew up instantly. Being seen with you is getting exhausting. He paused, waiting for her reaction. Well, a grin spread across Do-wah's face. I think it's fine, as long as you're happy. Eun-hyuk appeared, seemingly out of nowhere, and plopped down beside Sue. Squeam, why are you here? Doo-wah answered for him. I called him. We're allies now. Eun-hyuk added with a pointed look at both of them. You both need help with math. Sue had scored a 4, Doo-wah a 6. Why refuse help when it's offered so kindly? Eun-hyuk pressed. Doo-wah chimed in exactly. Just agree. They were a united front, a rare and slightly unsettling sight. The story behind this tutoring arrangement went like this. Just yesterday at lunchtime, the three of them were walking up the stairs when their teacher's booming voice stopped them in their tracks. You too. I've been looking everywhere for you. Why aren't you attending tutoring? You're the only ones who've skipped for 3 weeks straight. Fried, steamed, whatever. I want those assignments on my desk next period. Understood? Perfectly in sync. They both replied, yes, sir. A picture of obedient contrition. Sue had even dropped to her knees. Teacher, please let me explain. It's not what you think. We were wrong. Later, Eun-hyuk had asked, do you need my help? Sue, a knot of anxiety in her stomach, had quickly shaken her head. No, it's okay. Fine. She didn't want him to get dragged into the mess, to suffer any consequences because of her. That's why she'd been avoiding him all afternoon. At the cafe, when they'd stood side by side, she'd subtly shifted away. Walking home, Doo-wah, ever the boisterous one, had positioned himself between them, his playful bickering a welcome distraction. Even during their gaming session, she'd tried to keep her distance. But now, here he was sitting right next to her. A bead of sweat trickled down Sue-Ae's temple. Why does this keep happening? She thought. It's fake. It has to be. Doo-wah pulled his chair closer. Sue-Ae, he said, come sit next to me. It'll be easier to discuss the problems. Relief washed over Sue-Ae. Okay, she said, jumping up, but Eun-hyuk's voice stopped her. What's there to discuss with him? Sit here, with me. Students should sit together, Doo-wah retorted. Are you prejudiced or something? So childish. Eun-hyuk shot back. Whoever asked for help first gets to sit with her. This bickering was getting them nowhere. Doo-wah, initially pleased by Sue-Ae's move, now frowned. Eun-hyuk, though looking smug, quickly fell silent. A strange tension filled the air. Sue-Ae took charge, gesturing for them both to sit together. Both of you, she commanded, open your books. The three of them bent over their textbooks, a semblance of studiousness settling over them. Do you get it? Let me explain it again. Eun-hyuk diligently took notes, and Doo-wah began working on his assignments. Barely 10 minutes later, Sue-Ae's eyelids began to droop, the lure of sleep pulling her under. Eun-hyuk chuckled softly, and Doo-wah smiled at Sue-Ae. But when their smiles met, their 4 eyes locking, a silent explosion went off. Both of them flinched, a strange numbness tingling through them. They both turned away, backs to each other, each thinking, if only I hadn't looked. Wouldn't that have been better? Goosebumps prickled Eun-hyuk's skin. That disgusting expression, he thought. Why look at Sue-Ae like that? A message notification pinged. Eun-hyuk checked it, then stood up. Something came up. I gotta go. Doo-wah scowled, pointedly ignoring him. It was unsettling. Don't stay out too late, Eun-hyuk added. You live pretty far. Doo-wah gaped at him. What? Why do you suddenly care? That's creepy. I'm getting goosebumps. Eun-hyuk, seeing the look of utter disgust on Doo-wah's face, backpedaled. I just meant she should head home early because she lives far. Whether you go home or not isn't my business. Doo-wah's expression shifted in understanding. He glanced at the sleeping Sue-Ae. Oh, he was talking to her. But how does he know she lives far away? Sue-Ae woke with a start. What? Eun-hyuk left already? Oh no. When are we going to finish all this homework? There's so much left. Doo-wah, who had somehow materialized beside her, watched her near panic. You slept for another hour and a half, he said gently. Sue-Ae shot him a look. What? I already slept for an hour. Why didn't you wake me up? How far did you get? I'll try to finish the rest quickly. I got a number 10. Sue-Ae looked down at her own test paper. Number 10. They were both at the same spot. What? You're at the same place as me. She raised her hand as if to hit him. What were you doing while I was asleep? Watching you sleep. You looked happy. In the distance, 2 students raised their phones, ready to snap a picture. Sue-Ae saw them and bolted, ducking out of sight. Why'd you run off like that? They just took your picture, she hissed. Doo-wah ran a hand through his hair, unconcerned. That's normal back home, but they might have gotten you into shot too. Sorry. Are you okay? Even if they did, they only got my back. A sudden commotion erupted behind them. What's going on? Are they filming something? What is it? That's Baek Doo-wah from G1 High. He's interning at Marong. Whoa, really? Let's get a picture with him. Sui heard the excited whispers and grabbed Du-Hwa's arm. Let's go. It's too loud. I can't concentrate. She practically dragged him away. I told you to go home. Go home and sit wherever you want. Okay. Sui noticed an extra chair pulled up to her table. I figured you'd come, so I got it ready. Du-Hwa just sat down when Sui's stomach rumbled loudly. Want some ramen? He set a steaming pot of ramen on the table. Sui's eyes lit up. Wow, that looks amazing. I'm digging in. Hold on, let me get you some water. Sui picked up her chopsticks, then fumbled and dropped one. She bent down to retrieve it, groping around on the floor, and when she stood back up, she bumped the pot of ramen, sending a cascade of hot broth splashing onto her shoulder. Ow! Hot! Du-Hwa, in the midst of pouring water, startled, dropped the glass. Oh my God, Sui! Sui! Are you hurt? Sui shrugged off her jacket and hurried to the bathroom. She examined her shoulder in the mirror, a spreading patch of red blooming across her skin. A stinging sensation radiated from the burn. Oh, thankfully it's not too bad, she murmured, peeling off her shirt and slipping into Du-Hwa's. Thanks for letting me borrow this. Of course. Are you all right? I'm so sorry. Making you worry about me this late. Haha. Du-Hwa, flustered, averted his gaze. Why did you take your dress off too? Sui lifted the hem of the oversized shirt, revealing her dress underneath. It's right here. Are you making fun of my height? Sit down. I'll put some ointment on it. Sui moved towards the bed. Okay. Du-Hwa's face burned crimson. He fidgeted nervously. Does it still hurt? Not really. It's just a little red. That's a relief. You had a whole pot of ramen on you. Let me see. He gestured towards her shoulder. Sui lifted the back of her shirt, exposing the reddened skin. The sight of the burn, now stark against the smooth skin of her back, sent a wave of heat through Du-Hwa. He quickly looked away, his face a deeper shade of red. What are you doing? So you can put the ointment on, silly. Hurry up before it gets worse. Du-Hwa hesitated for a moment, then gently reached out and applied the cream. I'm fine, Sui reassured him. I don't think it's a real burn. It doesn't feel that hot, and it's not swelling. But if it scars, I'll have to get surgery. I heard it's really expensive. Surgery would definitely get rid of the scar completely, though. Du-Hwa felt a strange fluttering in his chest. Why is my heart beating so fast, he wondered. If you didn't feel anything, you'd definitely be a eunuch. Huh. Sui and Du-Hwa waved goodbye. Du-Hwa stepped into his apartment, the room bathed in the warm glow of the lights. Before, coming home had always meant being greeted by darkness and silence. He would have to flick the switch himself. He walked past the familiar kitchen to the wooden chair. He'd bought it on a whim, passing a furniture store one day. He'd seen it displayed in the window, gone back, run his hand over the smooth wood, felt the comforting solidity of it. I'll take this one, he'd said. Lying in bed, he replayed the moment he'd applied the ointment to Sui's skin, his heart still thrumming against his ribs. He brought a hand to his chest, feeling the insistent beat. The next morning, Du-Hwa woke early, joining the throngs of people crammed onto the morning train. Arriving at school, he found the school administrator still yawning, the classrooms empty. He offered a polite greeting. Good morning, sir. The administrator blinked in surprise. Well, Baek Du-Hwa, why are you here so early these days? What's gotten into you? So diligent lately. Finally seen the light, have we? During class, Du-Hwa was focused on the lecture when a familiar voice drifted in from the courtyard. He glanced out the window. It was Sui. Down below, she was leaning against a friend's back, laughing. Put me down already. Du-Hwa couldn't help but smile. She was intriguing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. After school, Du-Hwa hurried to find Sui, but when he stepped into the classroom, she wasn't there. He looked around, but Sui was nowhere to be seen. At lunchtime, Du-Hwa sat beside his classmate. She leaned her head on his shoulder, her voice a sugary whine. Please come to school early every day like you did today, Baek Du-Hwa. Without you, this place is deadly dull. Baek Du-Hwa, can I tag you on Facebook? Yes, seriously. Before, when we asked you to get on Facebook, you weren't interested. What's with the sudden change? But hey, who's that girl? Sim Sui. Since when did you two get so close? Du-Hwa, oblivious to his friend's chatter, kept his gaze fixed on the cafeteria entrance. Where is she? Maybe she already came through. A stray soccer ball flew through the air, smacking into two girls. Ow! Ju Kwang-min, are you trying to kill us? That almost hit us. Eun-hyuk rushed over to retrieve the ball, his face flushed with embarrassment. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. Recognizing Eun Hyuk, the girl's expressions instantly softened. Oh, it's you? It's okay, it's okay. It wasn't like you kicked it, huh? Right? Go Eun Hyuk. Doo-wah observed Go Eun Hyuk and Shim Soo-ae constantly together, playing piano together, going to the movies together. Soo-ae ransacking her closet to find the perfect outfit to meet Eun Hyuk. One of the girls sighed dreamily. He's so good at soccer too. Another chimed in, that's what I'm saying. Athletic guys are just irresistibly attractive. The word attractive sent a wave of nausea through Doo-wah. Attractive? Hardly. More like sickeningly sweet. He noticed the sheen of sweat on Go Eun Hyuk's brow, trickling down his neck, and a strange unease settled in his stomach. Well, what is this? What kind of weird aura is this? Why am I suddenly finding him attractive? Eun Hyuk paused, lifting his shirt to wipe the sweat from his face, revealing a sculpted six-pack. The girls around Doo-wah erupted in a flurry of excited whispers. OMG, did you see that? I want to freeze time. Girl, you're feeling it too, right? Okay, fine, I'll just admire those abs all night long. Those abs are insane. They stared, mesmerized, practically drooling, wishing they could reach out and touch. Doo-wah curled his lip, a thought nagging at him. Is this Soo-ae's type? This sexy style? He recalled Soo-ae in his oversized shirt back at his apartment, boldly asking him to apply ointment to her burn. A sudden headache throbbed behind his eyes. He turned to Ji-yoon. Go Eun Hyuk and me. He asked, who's more handsome? What? Where did that come from? Let me see. Well, I think you're more handsome, Doo-wah, but everyone has different tastes. We should make a distinction. One is handsome, and the other is super mega handsome. But wait, what's this about? Are you worried about being outshone? How cute. Doo-wah remained silent, lost in thought. Different tastes, huh? Go Eun Hyuk. Did you see Shim Soo-ae today? Eun Hyuk paused mid-wash at the sink, replying casually, of course. We're in the same class. Why don't you just look for her yourself? Doo-wah shrugged helplessly, a weary sigh escaping his lips. It's weird. I haven't seen her all day, and I miss her like crazy. Eun Hyuk, drying his face, shot Doo-wah's sidelong glance. What are you talking about? Doo-wah pressed further. Aren't you pursuing Soo-ae? How's that going? Haven't you won her over yet? A flicker of dejection crossed Eun Hyuk's face. Not yet. Doo-wah breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. // one Eun Hyuk's answer made Doo-wah sigh in relief. That's a relief then. His relief was short-lived, however, as a bucket of cold water was promptly dumped over his head, soaked from head to toe. Doo-wah spun around to find Eun Hyuk grinning mischievously. Sorry, you looked a little too smug. So annoying, in fact, that I couldn't resist giving you a little wash. Doo-wah fumed. What the heck? Are you crazy? Soo-ae and her friends trudged up the stairs, stifling yawns at the prospect of another mind-numbing math class. Suddenly, they glanced down and spotted two familiar figures playfully jostling each other in the courtyard below. A smile touched Soo-ae's lips. She wondered when they had become so close. In the hallway, Eun Hyuk walked with a frown, irritably brushing off his shirt. Damn it, he muttered, stepping into the classroom. He found all eyes fixed on one person. Kang Min-woo, standing before Soo-ae. Eun Hyuk's entrance broke the spell of silence. He turned to a classmate. Woo Song, he said, can I borrow your gym jacket for a bit? Woo Song readily agreed. Sure, it's in my locker. Just take your name tag off before you wear it. Min-woo turned, spotting Eun Hyuk, and a shiver ran down his spine. Eun Hyuk strolled over to the lockers, opened one, and waited to see if Min-woo would follow his instructions. His mind flashed back to that evening. Eun Hyuk and Soo-ae were studying together when Min-woo had texted, asking to meet Eun Hyuk at 8 p.m. in the alley behind their houses. Telling Doo-wah and Soo-ae to continue studying, Eun Hyuk had left. When Min-woo arrived, Eun Hyuk was already waiting in the alley. He'd been puzzling over why Min-woo wanted to meet. As Min-woo approached, Eun Hyuk asked, aren't you going to school? He didn't need an answer. Min-woo's bruised face told the whole story. Min-woo glared at Eun Hyuk. What are you looking at? You call me out here. Don't let me see your pathetic state. Who do you think you are? Eun Hyuk said coldly. Looks like your dad's still as strict as ever. Why'd he beat you up so badly this time? Min-woo gritted his teeth. Damn it, who's the one playing games here? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Minwoo knew full well that Eun Hyuk had told his father about the incidents at school, leading to the brutal beating. His injuries were severe. Ointment didn't help, and garlic only made it worse. Eun Hyuk's voice dripped with false innocence. Of course I didn't do it on purpose. If I had, you wouldn't have said anything so carelessly. I was protecting your image. Don't you think? You're the type who cares about that sort of thing. Minwoo spun around and stormed off, muttering curses under his breath. Talking to you is pointless. Eun Hyuk's voice followed him. Talking to you is pointless. You should go deal with those ridiculous rumors and then apologize for spreading them. Minwoo stopped, grinding his teeth. I can't stand this crap. Eun Hyuk continued. Aren't there a lot of things you need to apologize to her for? Minwoo stepped up to Eun Hyuk. Hey, who the hell do you think you are? Are you dating Shim Soo-ae? Eun Hyuk responded frankly, we're not dating. Minwoo's voice rose. Then who gave you the right to lecture me? Were you to order me around? You're pathetic enough as it is, and now you're even worse. Eun Hyuk calmly replied, because I like her. Kang Minwoo smirked. Damn it. Look at this. She's totally cheating on me behind my back. I was right, wasn't I? You two really are together. You're ridiculous. Why should I apologize? What the hell do I need to explain? Eun Hyuk finally snapped. Damn it, Minwoo. You're the one who's cheating. Kang Minwoo paled, his eyes darting nervously. What? Tears welled up, his gaze flickering back and forth. Eun Hyuk scoffed. You lime and you, I know you two have been sneaking around. Minwoo finally understood. So that's why you've been acting like this. At certain times, you suddenly became strangely hostile towards me. All because I cheated on Soo-ae, the girl you like. You're right, I was seeing both Soo-ae and you lime. But what are you going to do about it? In the art room, Eun Hyuk held Soo-ae's hand, sincerely apologizing. I'm sorry for deciding on my own. I called him to tell him to apologize to you, but I didn't expect him to be so shameless. I also made him correct the false rumors about you. Soo-ae was only concerned about one thing. So you fought with him? Holding a bottle of antiseptic, Soo-ae said, looking at the bruises on your face, you were beaten up pretty badly. Eun Hyuk, transforming from remorseful to earnest, quickly replied, No, it was just a light scuffle. Eun Hyuk said sheepishly, I can't say I'm completely innocent. Honestly, I knew I should have asked you first, but I skipped that part because I knew you wouldn't let me do it. To be honest, I wanted to teach Kang Minwoo a lesson. Watching Eun Hyuk switch to obedient boy mode, flustered with explanations, Soo-ae couldn't help but smile, thinking how adorable he was. She cupped his face in her hands. What about you? Are you hurt? Touched by her concern, Eun Hyuk's eyes lit up. No, I'm fine. That's good. This handsome face, if it had a single scratch, it would be a disaster. Soo-ae casually offered him a sweet candy. Eun Hyuk blushed. Wait a minute, that sounded familiar. He remembered Minwoo confidently telling Woo Song that if his handsome face got a single scratch, it would break a lot of hearts. Be careful, you hear? The young man became shy. Super shy. I'm super shy. You haven't eaten lunch today because of soccer, right? Here, eat quickly. Soo-ae placed a cream bread in front of him. Eun Hyuk, overwhelmed by her kindness, simply stared at the bread. Soo-ae continued, Thank you for clearing my name and worrying about me. Eun Hyuk took her wrist, pulling the bread closer to his mouth. Then I'll take a bite. As he ate, he grinned, thinking how delicious and sweet it was. Seeing his adorable reaction, Soo-ae couldn't resist ruffling his hair, gently stroking it, making Eun Hyuk jolt. What is this? Am I her puppy? Soo-ae beckoned him with her finger, just like calling a puppy. Eun Hyuk stared at Soo-ae in disbelief. Soo-ae thought to herself, let me be selfish for a moment. I hope I can forget about Meringue's erratic heartbeat and wholeheartedly enjoy this moment without worrying about Eun Hyuk's safety when he's with me. Forget everything and just savor this moment. It's so precious. I want to preserve this moment even if a natural disaster strikes. Then aloud, she teased, for a second there, I thought you were actually a dog. Soo-ae burst out laughing, while Eun Hyuk gazed at her tenderly. Soo-ae and Ajin were on their way to the art gallery when Ajin suddenly noticed something across the street. Hey look, isn't that a cute little pig? Amidst the bustling crowd, only the little pig stood rooted to the spot. Soo-ae felt a pang of sympathy, thinking that no one wanted to take a flyer from the little pig. Then, she made up her mind. The little pig tried to lift its small head, seemingly overwhelmed by the heat. Ajin, wait for me. I'm gonna get a flyer. Su-yi dashed off after speaking. Ajin shook her head in resignation. Here she goes again, meddling in other people's business, she thought. Oh well, at least her mood has improved. The pig handed Su-yi a flyer, only to hear her say, "Give me 10 more. Ah, the pig exclaimed in surprise. It was Duwa inside the cute pig costume. He thought to himself, isn't that Shim Su-yi's voice? At that moment, Su-yi looked up, seemingly recognizing the owner of the voice as Baek Duwa. Seeing Su-yi's reaction, Duwa took off the pig head and said, "What? You recognize me just by my voice? You're making me blush." Duwa was drenched in sweat. Su-yi exclaimed in alarm. What are you doing here? Why are you wearing this costume in this heat? Duwa replied calmly, I don't know. Maybe to relieve stress? That manager asked me to run an errand, and I ended up doing this. Su-yi said angrily. That manager you're talking about, is he the same guy from the other day? Duwa chuckled. That's him. Yep, that's the one. Ajin called out. Shim Su-yi, what are you still doing there? We're gonna be late. Duvalogid, your friend's calling. You better go. Su-yi left, but couldn't help but look back at Duwa one more time. Ajin asked, do you know him? What were you talking about? Su-yi stammered, no, nothing. I just asked him how much he gets paid for this part-time job. What? Do you need money? Su-yi's eyes lit up. If I need it now, will you give me some? Ajin immediately brushed her off. Who are you? I don't even know you. Su-yi watched Du while handing out flyers. No one seemed to recognize the boy behind the pig costume. Ajin just sighed, saying, Su-yi, where are you going now? I'll be right back. Su-yi ran back towards Duwa. Duwa saw her and waved. Su-yi's face flushed crimson, practically radiating fury. I knew I shouldn't have offered to help him, she grumbled. If I'd known I'd have to wear this hideous thing, I wouldn't have come back. Duwa couldn't help but laugh, recalling the manager's arrogant attitude. You said you wanted to help. Well, you can't. If you want to help, you have to wear this. Besides, if you were even a little bit cute, I wouldn't dare let you wander around out here. Plus, what if I run into one of those kids' parents? Su-yi was about to lunge at him, probably to deliver a well-deserved smack, but Duwa stopped her just in time. Are you crazy? He asked. Su-yi fumed. That old guy seems to have it out for you. I think he's jealous. Duwa corrected her. He's only 25. Su-yi fanned herself, trying to cool down, both physically and emotionally. Duwa pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed at the sweat beading on Su-yi's forehead. You don't have to help me, you know. Su-yi, panting and dripping with sweat, stuck her tongue out like an overheated puppy. It's so hot. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna die of heat stroke, and I haven't even finished handing out all these flyers yet. Stop staring and get changed. Su-yi stood behind Duwa as he changed, the rustling of fabric filling the air as the costume crumpled to the ground. Duwa stood beside her, his body flushed with heat, gulping nervously. He had to close his eyes to maintain some semblance of composure. Finished changing, Su-yi called out to him, oblivious to the fact that Duwa's mind had wandered to distant lands. Startled by her voice, he froze, snapping back to reality. Su-yi, now free of the pig costume and clad only in her underclothes, felt a wave of relief wash over her. Duwa, on the other hand, felt a surge of awkwardness mixed with a touch of embarrassment. Come on, we don't have much time left. I still have to get to my art class, you know. Su-yi called from the entrance of the pig costume. Yes, ma'am, Duwa mumbled, thinking to himself how incredibly naive Su-yi was, so carefree around a boy. They stepped back out onto the street, each armed with a thick stack of flyers. They high-fived, a silent pact of determination passing between them. Before splitting up, with renewed energy, they distributed flyers to passers-by. Their stacks dwindled rapidly, and finally, Su-yi handed out her last one. She collapsed onto a nearby bench, stretching her tired limbs, and glanced over at Duwa, who was still working diligently. Leaves rustled in the breeze as she pulled off the pig head, immediately feeling a rush of cool air against her face. Oh my gosh, my legs are killing me. I'm so tired. Suddenly, she felt a pair of hands grip the back of the bench. Startled, she thought, what the? And opened her eyes to see who it was. No way. Is that really you, Shim Su-yi? Eun-hyuk appeared before her, seemingly out of nowhere. What are you doing here? He asked, leaning down, his face close to hers, making her heart skip a beat. Excuse me, do you know where the manager is? A girl replied. He locked up the storage room and went home. Su-yi froze. What? What am I supposed to do now? She went back outside to find Eun-hyuk. Hey, go Eun-hyuk. Eun-hyuk turned around. Are you okay? Let's go. Soo Ee explained the situation. Eun Hyuk's eyes widened. You mean you have to wear that thing home? Should we call the manager or try to get the storage room key? Eun Hyuk suggested. Soo Ee looked around. Nah, it's fine. Let's just go. I'm okay. I have another uniform at home anyway. A sudden thought struck Soo Ee. Wait, is Baek Doo-hwa still out there? Don't tell me he's still handing out flyers. She lowered her voice, speaking to Eun Hyuk. We can get it later. That manager is a real jerk, so let's just go home. Eun Hyuk flinched. What? Did he say something to you? Is that why you're acting like this? Soo Ee responded anxiously. It's nothing. I'm just worried he might give my friend a hard time or something. Internally, she fretted. If this keeps up, I'm really going to run into Doo-hwa. I'm really okay. Let's go. Soo Ee insisted, turning to leave. Eun Hyuk stared after her, bewildered. You're really just going to leave like this? Awkward in the bulky pig costume, Soo Ee thought. It's best to get out of here before those two see each other. Eun Hyuk called after her. No, but wait. Soo Ee startled and tumbled to the ground. In the end, Eun Hyuk had no choice but to carry Soo Ee home on his back. He remained silent during the walk. Soo Ee wondered, what's going on? This atmosphere, is he mad at me? Breaking the silence, Soo Ee said, it's so hot, and you have to carry me. I'm sorry. You must be tired and hot. Eun Hyuk's voice was laced with concern. Why do you always say you're okay? I wish you'd worry about your own uniform instead of worrying about your friend getting scolded. Instead of helping your friend with extra work, I wish you'd prioritize going to your art class. Instead of worrying about Yulim's safety, I wish you'd think about your own happiness first. So, what I mean is you should think about yourself first. More than your friends. More than Kong Min Woo and Yulim, the two who give you so much trouble. And even more than me. Caring for and being kind to others is good, but you're not being kind to yourself, you know? Soo Ee thought to herself. Maybe the misfortunes happening around me, and Eun Hyuk worrying about me being affected by them, are making me more sensitive than ever. Making me more sensitive than ever. My weak and fragile heart has never been hardened, so everything that passes through my life becomes unusually sharp. It was like a catalyst, making everything easily combustible. Soo Ee said, you don't understand me. Inwardly, she thought, Eun Hyuk doesn't know what I've thought, how selfish and terrible I've been. That's why he can say these things so casually. She continued, I'm not that kind. I'm incredibly selfish. And if I keep being selfish, it'll be a big problem. Her voice catching in her throat. Eun Hyuk chuckled softly. Is that so? Then let it become a big problem. If that happens, then try it and see. You'll end up hating me, won't you? Do you really think so? If that's the case, then you're the one who doesn't understand me. I really like you. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Eun Hyuk confessed, I like you, Shim Soo Ee. So, the moment had arrived. Soo Ee, though happy, was also flustered. Seeing Soo Ee's blushing silence, Eun Hyuk said, are you just going to stay quiet? You're making me feel awkward. I'm so embarrassed. Soo Ee clenched her fists, then abruptly released them. Put me down, Soo Ee thought. For me, to shamelessly pretend I don't know the unhappiness I'll bring to Eun Hyuk, I don't have the ability to solve the problems that are close at hand. Between the crossroads of indifference and helplessness, my selfish choice is... Hesitantly, she clenched her fists again and told Eun Hyuk, wait for me a moment. I'll be right back. Wait here for me, okay? She knew she could only postpone her decision. Tears welling in her eyes. Unable to look directly at Eun Hyuk, Soo Ee said, wait for me, Eun Hyuk. Seeing Soo Ee like this, Eun Hyuk frantically waved his hands. Are you seriously treating me like a dog? You've been treating me like a dog this whole time. Soo Ee burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. Panicked, Eun Hyuk exclaimed, I'm the one who got rejected. Why are you crying? Is that really it? I mean, it's not time yet, Soo Ee replied between sobs. Not time yet? What do you mean? Eun Hyuk asked, bewildered. I can't say. I just can't. Okay, then how long do I have to wait? Eun Hyuk asked directly. I can't tell you that either. Soo Ee cried even harder. Eun Hyuk, flustered, said, okay, I won't ask anymore. But if you won't tell me the reason or how long I have to wait, at least give me a reason to wait. If it's a good reason, I won't ask anything else and I'll wait patiently. Soo Ee looked at Eun Hyuk, then moved closer and kissed him on the cheek. Eun Hyuk froze, stunned by the unexpected gesture. Blushing, Soo Ee mumbled, I like you too. Is that a good enough reason? Leaning against Soo Ae's shoulder, Eun Hyuk whispered, "Of course it is. I'm home." Doo-wah called from the doorway, having returned after finishing his work. He looked around for a moment, then asked, "Where's Soo Ae? Has my friend not come back yet?" The woman replied, "Oh, she went home already. The manager locked up the storage room, so she had to go home in that costume." "What? When did that happen?" "Just a little while ago." "I'll head out then. See you later." Doo-wah had a trick for opening the locked door. He grabbed a toothpick from the counter, unlocked the door, quickly changed his clothes, then grabbed Soo Ae's shoes and went looking for her. Finally spotting her being carried on Eun Hyuk's back, Doo-wah stopped and turned back home. After arriving home, Soo Ae called Eun Hyuk. "You know, right? From now on, we should keep our distance as much as possible. You understand, right?" Eun Hyuk replied, "You mean, not only did you reject me, but you also want me to stay as far away from you as possible?" Soo Ae mumbled, "Yes." Eun Hyuk continued, "The reason is because if you're near me, I'll get hurt?" "Definitely." Eun Hyuk suddenly seemed to remember something. "Is this because of the bus accident last time?" "Well, that's part of the reason, but not all of it." "Then what is it really?" Soo Ae replied, "There are other reasons." Scratching his head, Eun Hyuk said, "You're telling me not to ask anymore, aren't you?" Soo Ae continued, "So, since we're in the same class, it's unavoidable that we'll see each other there. Other than that, we need to limit contact as much as possible, okay? Until when? Until you're okay." Eun Hyuk added, "Even if I don't know when that will be?" "Yes." Leaning his head back, Eun Hyuk sighed. "Just waiting is enough?" "Yes." "Okay, so let's study. We have a test coming up." Eun Hyuk texted Soo Ae, "The weather's really nice today." The two continued to text back and forth. Soo Ae boarded the bus, which was packed with people. After struggling to find a place to stand, she was startled to see Eun Hyuk at the back of the bus. Panicked, Soo Ae thought, "Oh no, why am I on the same bus as Eun Hyuk? I have to get off." The image of their bus accident flashed before her eyes. "Excuse me, everyone, I need to get off for a moment," Soo Ae announced. A ripple of murmurs spread through the crowded bus as people wondered what was causing her sudden panic. What was going on? The bus was packed. Soo Ae struggled her way towards the exit, her voice laced with urgency. "Driver, please stop the bus for a second. I need to get off." "It's an emergency." "I can't do that," the driver refused. Soo Ae, breathless and speaking in broken phrases, pleaded, Wait, please. I really have to get off." Suddenly, Eun Hyuk's voice cut through the commotion. "Driver, could you open the back door, please? I forgot to ring the bell. I'm so sorry." Soo Ae stared at Eun Hyuk, bewildered. Woo Sung looked surprised. What's going on?" "Hey, go Eun Hyuk. Why are you getting off? This isn't our stop. What are you doing?" Eun Hyuk replied, "Isn't it hot in here?" Woo Sung agreed, but was still confused. "It is hot, but why are you getting off the bus?" Eun Hyuk strode off, looking back with a smile. "I feel like walking. Need some fresh air." Woo Sung shook his head, unable to understand his friend. "You're crazy. You're going to be late for class." Soo Ae watched Eun Hyuk wave at her, a flicker of surprise crossing her face. The driver's voice boomed through the bus. "Students, the bus is about to start moving. Hold on tight to the handrails. Don't fall." Soo Ae glanced back, watching Eun Hyuk stroll down the street, hands in his pockets, a small smile playing on his lips. She couldn't help but smile back. Soo Ae arrived at a convenience store and bought an energy drink. She thought to herself, "I'll put this in his locker. I wonder if he'll find it right away. If I leave it on his desk, someone else might notice it. And if I call him out to give it to him directly, it'll be too risky. Putting it in his locker is the safest option. I hope he can drink it as soon as he gets to school. That would be great." Lost in thought, Soo Ae was startled to see Do while walking down the hallway. Doo-wah entered the nurse's office, and Soo Ae followed him inside. As Doo-wah sat down on a bed, Soo Ae approached him with a smile. "Baek Doo-wah, did you get home safely yesterday? Did you wear that Peppa Pig costume all the way home? I bet a lot of people stared at you." Doo-wah pulled a bag from his backpack. Inside were the shoes and uniform Soo Ae had left in the changing room. Surprised, Soo Ae asked, "Wow, how did you get these? Did you go to the store early this morning?" Doo-wah shook his head and then, using 6 fingers, pulled out a comic book and began to read. Soo Ae was perplexed. What's wrong with him? Is he ignoring me on purpose? She wondered. Baek Doo-wah read his comic, his lips pursed, looking quite adorable. Soo Ae couldn't help but giggle. She sat down on the bed next to him. Hey, are you sulking because I didn't text you before I left yesterday? She asked. It's not that, she explained. I suddenly had something urgent to do, so... Before she could finish, Sue Ae's eyes landed on the comic book Do-Wah was reading, Cindy, the Black Rose Girl. Her jaw dropped. She rushed over and grabbed Do-Wah's hands. What is this? Why are you reading this? Sue Ae threw her arms around Do-Wah's neck. Thank you, she exclaimed. Baek Do-Wah, you're a genius. Her eyes crinkled with laughter, while Do-Wah, flustered and sweating, didn't know what to do. Do-Wah explained how he'd come across the comic. Chairman Marong had found him at the laundromat. He hadn't been there to wash or fix any clothes. He'd just been sitting there reading a comic book. No, he was pretending to read the comic. Actually, he was there to observe Baek Do-Wah. After that, he slipped his business card into the comic book and left. Chairman Marong and the Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles comic book. Sue Ae found this combination strange. Something felt off like deja vu. Leaning against the windowsill, Sue Ae thought to herself, why? It feels like I've missed something really important. The school bell rang. Sue Ae jumped off the bed, saying, I have to go, class is about to start. Bye-bye, see you later. Sue Ae dashed off like the wind. Do-Wah smiled wryly. Oh, so naive. Sue Ae, stop scattering your affections everywhere. Sue Ae hummed a tune as she walked, happily skipping along. Suddenly, a small hand grasped her ring finger, pulling her back. Sue Ae turned around to see Do-Wah chasing after her. He asked, what are you doing after school today? After reading the school announcement, Do-Wah felt incredibly discouraged and helpless. The announcement stated, during the middle and high school final exam period, library hours will be from Monday to Friday. During this time, the library will be divided into male and female sections. Please read the notice carefully for more details. Do-Wah frowned, thinking to himself, why did I even come here? His plans to study with Sue Ae were completely ruined. Do-Wah sat dejectedly on the hallway sofa, sucking on a lollipop, waiting for Sue Ae. He saw someone emerge from the classroom. Do-Wah jumped up, his eyes bright, but when he saw who it was, he immediately deflated. His phone chimed with a message. Do-Wah picked up his phone and read Sue Ae's message. Are you outside? Do-Wah sat up, happily replying, yup, along with a nodding rabbit sticker. Sue Ae messaged back. Ah, I knew it. Do-Wah wondered curiously. Knew what? Sue Ae continued. Girls keep coming in and out. One freshman has already drunk 4 bottles of water. It's definitely because of you. Come in and sit for a bit. I can't concentrate on studying anymore. And why are you still standing out there? Aren't you going to study? Do-Wah replied, I am studying. Of course, he had to go in. Do-Wah stood up, thinking as he walked. It's just studying. What's the big deal? Easy peasy, like a little bunny. He picked up his backpack and, noticing the comic book inside, decided to read it. His eyes were already getting heavy, but he persisted. Cindy, are you really going to leave me? The cheesy line made Do-Wah chuckle. The student next to him glanced over, annoyed. Do-Wah turned away, embarrassed, thinking to himself, Sue Ae's taste is so hard to understand. Wow, it's actually quite complicated. Her standards are pretty high. In the study room, Sue Ae rubbed her aching shoulders, thinking, should I go out for some fresh air? Exam season had begun. Life for high school seniors during college entrance exams was truly a mix of heaven and hell. It was a time for everyone to isolate themselves. The only consolation was that everyone was fighting their own battles, not just her and Go Eun-hyuk. Despite this consolation, Sue Ae still felt incredibly lonely, as if she hadn't been comforted at all. Ring, ring, ring. Go Eun-hyuk was calling. Hello. What's up? Were you waiting for my call? She then feigned surprise. What? Honestly, why would I do that? Eun-hyuk said, come out, I'll take you home. I'm in front of the library. What? You absolutely cannot come inside. Just wait for me there. I told you we need to keep our distance. Why did this idiot come here? Sue Ae hurriedly gathered her books and practically flew out of the library. It was raining. Sue Ae opened her umbrella, looking around, but couldn't see Go Eun-hyuk anywhere. What? There's no one here. A voice called out from across the street. Sue Ae looked over and saw Go Eun-hyuk standing there, waving at her. He pointed, signaling for them to walk on opposite sides of the street. On their way home, Su Ae called Go Eun-hyuk. I told you we need to separate for a while. Eun-hyuk replied, isn't this far enough? Su Ae was exasperated. I mean, we need to exercise restraint, especially in situations where we're together. Understand? It's just this much. Let's pretend nothing happened today. Go Eun-hyuk glanced at Su Ae and said with a smile, I've already made a plan. Even if we're not together, I still have a way for us to be together. They continued walking and talking. Suddenly, Duwa's voice rang out from behind them. He threw down his umbrella, ran towards Su Ae, embraced her, and said, my love, were you planning on leaving me after all? Su Ae looked up, still confused about what was happening. Go Eun-hyuk, hearing this, pressed his lips together and muttered unhappily, my love? Su Ae, still bewildered, responded, huh, my love? Wait a minute, what are you doing? Why am I your love? Seeing Su Ae's reaction, Duwa froze, looking slightly ridiculous. Duwa burst out laughing. What's wrong? You always act like you're my biggest fan, but it seems like you're not. Su Ae was dumbfounded. What? Duwa continued. That's the classic line from the male lead in Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles. I read it. The book Chairman Marang left for me. Su Ae quickly covered Duwa's mouth with her hand, stopping him from saying anything more. Reaching a traffic light, Go Eun-hyuk hesitated about whether to cross the street, but then stopped just in time. Only then did Duwa notice the person across the street. He scoffed and said, what? Why is he standing there? Su Ae suddenly realized she was also on the phone with Go Eun-hyuk. She glared at Duwa and said, Go Eun-hyuk, he's really good at talking nonsense, isn't he? Her hand was still covering Duwa's mouth. Duwa glanced at Go Eun-hyuk and decided to kiss her palm. Su Ae quickly pulled her hand away. What are you doing? Duwa chuckled, picked up his umbrella, and moved it along with her hand. Because I'm about to suffocate. Just one kiss, to help me breathe. Su Ae stared at him. Why are you acting so crazy today? Duwa laughed. Crazy? Let me walk with you for a bit. I don't have an umbrella. He then glanced at Go Eun-hyuk standing across the street. Su Ae was still unsure how to react when Duwa took the umbrella and held it over her. She stammered, speechless. At that moment, Go Eun-hyuk spoke up. Shim Su Ae. He called across the street. Hand the phone to Baek Duwa. Duwa looked confused. Me? Go Eun-hyuk replied. If you don't have an umbrella, take this. With that, Eun-hyuk threw his umbrella to the ground. Duwa gave a gentle smile and said, no, it's okay. I'm fine. You use it. Go Eun-hyuk insisted. Take it. The two boys stood in the rain, locked in a silent standoff, neither willing to budge. Go Eun-hyuk chuckled and tossed the umbrella towards Duwa. Fine, he conceded. Just stop bothering Shim Su Ae and use this to get home comfortably. Duwa's milid. I told you to use it. You use it. No, you use it. No, you use it. The umbrella was tossed back and forth between them, leaving Su Ae watching the absurd exchange with growing exasperation. Under her own umbrella, she thought, what are you two doing? Seriously. Su Ae held her umbrella over Duwa. Both of you, take your umbrellas. You'll catch cold standing out here like this. Stop being so childish. Duwa pushed the umbrella back towards Su Ae. You're getting soaked. Seeing Su Ae shiver, Go Eun-hyuk decided to give in. He picked up his umbrella and said, all right, I understand. I'll use mine, so you make sure you use yours too. You don't want to get sick. On their way home, Su Ae asked curiously, I've been wondering about this since last time, but... She hesitated, then continued. Be honest. Did something happen between you and Go Eun-hyuk? It feels like you two have been at each other's throats since our first year of high school. Or maybe even since middle school. Why else would you be arguing so much lately? Duvalaugid, you seem pretty convinced we've had a falling out. So I responded cryptically. No, not quite convinced, but honestly, your relationship doesn't seem very good. So, it's a reasonable suspicion. No, a deduction is probably a better word. Duwa said, think about it carefully. You're not very perceptive. Su Ae's voice rose. Me? Duwa continued, just think about it carefully. Think about why we've become like this. Su Ae paused and said, I don't know. Duwa blushed, cleared his throat, and said, this kind of thing happens all the time between handsome guys. Su Ae couldn't quite believe her ears. She turned to Duwa, speechless at his blatant narcissism. Duwa continued, obstacles, mind games, that sort of thing. But someone like Go Eun-hyuk could never stand in my way, right? Why aren't you saying anything? Su Ae remained silent. Changing the subject, she asked brightly, oh, by the way, what was that nonsense you were spouting earlier? Dua looked confused. What? Su Yi asked shyly. Was that Gray's line? Dua asked. Which Gray? Oh, Gray. He thought to himself, so that guy's name is Gray. Su Yi continued. Did you just start reading Versailles? What do you think? Is it good? How do you feel about it? How did you know that was the most iconic scene and even quote the line perfectly? Dua, realizing he'd let something slip and accidentally guessed the iconic scene of the comic, was taken aback. Su Yi excitedly chatted about the comic with Dua. Dua also realized that just mentioning this comic made Su Yi's eyes light up. Su Yi eagerly asked, "So, what did you think after reading it? Is it good? Tell me." Su Yi cleared her throat and said, "If you're interested, I can lend you the next volume." Dua replied, "Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Lend me the next one." Su Yi was overjoyed. Excitedly, she said, "Okay, I'll bring volume 2 for you tomorrow. It's really something to look forward to. It gets even better from volume 2 onwards. Actually, no, I'll give it to you after the exams. If I lend it to you now, you might get addicted and not focus on studying." Watching Su Yi chatter away, Dua suddenly asked, "So, why did you leave me, darling?" "Perhaps that's what I truly feel," Su Yi thought, bewildered. Airhead Su Yi, how could you understand? She blinked a few times, looked up at Dua, and said, "Leave? What are you talking about? Didn't you see the messages I sent you?" Duva, noticing that she hadn't reacted to his calling her darling, continued dejectedly, "And last time, when we were working part-time, you just left without saying anything." Su Yi tried to explain, "Hey, about that time?" It wasn't the right moment for Su Yi to reveal everything. There was still a long way to go. They continued walking and chatting animatedly. As soon as Su Yi got home, she turned on her computer. Should I try searching for it? She wondered. She opened a search engine and typed Marang Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles. The search yielded no related content, no news articles, just a single piece of information, a question. Is Marang's chairman a fan of Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles? On a fan page, the first analysis post read, "First of all, you might not know what Cindy, the Black Rose Girl is, so I'll explain briefly. Cindy, the Black Rose Girl is a famous romance comic set in the 1980s. As you can see, it's an outdated, old comic that came out a long time ago." Su Yi was annoyed. "Outdated? I'm not even 20 yet, and her work is already considered an 80s relic." Su Yi continued reading. "There's no denying that Marang is a top entertainment company, but honestly, I think this new project is really terrible compared to their reputation. But if Versailles were released by a different company, it probably wouldn't have gained any traction. I think this comic is the reason why the project is being called terrible. Now, I'll explain why I think so." Su Yi's eyes lit up as if she had found a clue. Go Eun-hyuk was home, visiting his mother, standing hesitantly at the door. He didn't want to go in, but seeing Yu Lime walking towards him with an affectionate look in her eyes, she turned around and smiled, calling out, "Go Eun-hyuk." Go Eun-hyuk looked up, not wanting his mother to see her. He took Yu Lime's hand and said, "Come with me." Pulling her along, he led her to a Starbucks. Go Eun-hyuk stood there, ordering a drink, then turned to Yu Lime as if to ask what she wanted. Yu Lime rested her chin in her hand, smiled, and said, "I want something warm." Eun-hyuk told the barista, "1 hot chocolate and 1 iced Americano, please." The drinks were quickly prepared, and the barista announced, "Here's your hot chocolate and iced Americano. Enjoy." A message from Su Yi arrived. "Did you get home safe?" Go Eun-hyuk smiled and replied, "Not yet, why?" Su Yi seemed worried. "Not yet? Why? Did something happen?" He texted back, "Yeah, don't worry. Okay, if anything happens, call me right away. Promise you'll call me, okay?" Go Eun-hyuk smiled and replied, "You sound so reliable." "Okay, I promise. I definitely will." Such a dependable presence. Yu Lime was quietly observing Go Eun-hyuk from afar, a slight pang of annoyance in her chest as she watched him smile while texting. But when he brought the drinks over, she forced a smile and asked, "Can I sit next to you?" She gestured to the seat beside him. Go Eun-hyuk didn't say anything, simply sat down, took off his backpack, and placed it on the seat next to him, a clear sign of refusal. He sat up straight, facing Yu Lime, waiting for her to speak. Yu Lime pouted, disgruntled. "You're so blunt." Although he saw the bruise on Yu Lime's lip, Go Eun-hyuk showed no concern, stating coldly, "I'd prefer it if you didn't come looking for me like this again." Yu Lime flinched at his words. "Wow, that's harsh," she continued. "I come here with a bruised lip, and that's all you have to say? Aren't you curious about who did this to me? Or if it hurts, don't you care about me anymore?" Go Eun-hyuk replied coldly, "Should I care about you?" Yu Lime's eyes lost focus, becoming frantic. She could only manage, "Yes, you should. You said you'd be my brother. Are you abandoning me too now?" Go Eun-hyuk felt a chill run down his spine, remembering the terrible things his wretched father had done to Yulim's mother. How dare you decide that on your own, without asking me? Are you crazy? What else could it be? That was the first time he had witnessed his father's madness. He remembered seeing Yulim and her mother, as a child, outside the window, coming to find his father. He saw Yulim weeping inconsolably before her mother's coffin. In that moment, Go Eun-hyuk had silently vowed to do anything for her if she wished, even be her brother. A wave of nausea washed over Go Eun-hyuk. "Let's go," he said. "I'll take you home." Seeing Go Eun-hyuk's coldness, Yulim was shocked, but quickly recovered, forcing a smile. "No, I'll go after I finish my drink." "Why are you in such a hurry?" She remembered the reason for her bruised face. She had gone to see Kang Min-woo after saying, "I'm going to make a phone call." Yulim said nonchalantly, "Really?" He continued, "Do you think Go Eun-hyuk would accept someone like you clinging to him? You're just like me, trash. Who will want to be around trash like us? Trash should be thrown away, understand? Now apologize." Yulim said, I'm sorry, okay?" Min-woo narrowed his eyes at Yulim. "Crazy." Yulim crossed her arms. "What? Not enough? Why don't you slap me then?" Min-woo, startled, turned around, surprised by her request. Yulim said, "Why don't you just hit me, and then we can quickly end this? I'm getting bored now." Min-woo raised his hand, as if to strike her. "Fine, let's do it that way," he said. Min-woo raised his hand, but slowly lowered it, unable to bring himself to hit Yulim. Yulim sighed and slapped herself hard across the face, startling Kang Min-woo. The single slap wasn't enough. She continued to hit herself repeatedly, each strike echoing with a sharp slap, slap, slap. Kang Min-woo stammered, "What the hell are you doing?" Yulim looked at him with vacant eyes. "Are you satisfied now? Let's not see each other again." She ran into the bathroom, pinching the already bruised skin on her face, deepening the purple mark. How foolish she had been. She had thought it would garner Go Eun-hyuk's sympathy, but he hadn't cared at all. Meanwhile, Soo-ae was still in the library, engrossed in online posts about Marong and Cindy, the Black Rose girl. "I think this book is the key," she murmured to herself. "Now let me explain why I think so. First, the Black was a two-member band inspired by the main characters in the comic Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles. Back then, the band gained popularity thanks to the members' visuals, but they also faced criticism for their concept. This was because they named the two main characters after the two male leads in Cindy, the Black Rose Girl, Ed and Gray. The Black Rose Girl, Ed and Gray. Second, Cindy, the group, didn't acknowledge whether the Black received negative feedback for this concept or not, and they didn't admit to borrowing the idea. But it's obvious to anyone that Cindy's image was inspired by the female lead in Cindy, the Black Rose Girl. You want proof? Cindy's debut concept, right down to the illustrations in Volume 2 of The Black Rose, is identical. It's undeniable. Third, the group Black Fur. Perhaps because Cindy's concept was criticized at the time, they were more subtle this time. This group has 5 members, and at first glance seems completely different, with no connection to the Black Rose. But look at the name, Black Ver Black from the Black Rose, right? And Ver from Versailles. It might sound like a coincidence, but look at the members' names. They're the names of the 5 horses in the comic. Even if they borrowed the concept, did they have to plagiarize the names too? They're the names of the 5 horses in the story. Even if they took inspiration, how could they copy the names too? What did the members of Black Ver do to deserve having their names replaced with those of 5 horses? Soo-ae covered her mouth with her hand, swallowing hard. This has to be Chairman Meringue's doing. I was right. She continued reading the rest of the post. Finally, there's the solo artist George. Honestly, I don't know if I'm jumping to conclusions, since there haven't been any teasers or anything released yet, but if I had to guess, the female lead Cindy's son in the comic is named George. The post was actually written by a fan who had followed him since he was a trainee, even before he debuted under the stage name George. She knew the concept might be controversial, so she posted online hoping they would change it. Even though she knew they wouldn't, she still wanted people to support him. He was going to release a song called The Child Must Disappear. There was a comment asking who the most unfortunate character in the comic was. The username was Rattle88. Soo-ae found the question intriguing and replied with a long comment about the pitiful George. In reality, George was a child who never existed, even though he was supposed to be the son of Edward and Cindy. The other person quickly replied, "Huh, George? I didn't even think of him. Now, every time I see George, I feel so sorry for him. Sob, sob, sob." Seeing this lively comment, Soo-ae found their way of talking adorable. Connecting this comment and Chairman Meringue's information, Soo-ae felt they were too similar. Could it be a coincidence? What if her #1 fan of the novel, Rattle 88, and Chairman Marong were the same person? Wouldn't she be able to take advantage of this? In a room filled with equipment and computer monitors, a notification popped up on one of the computer screens. Cindy, the Black Rose Girl of Versailles, final chapter. Chairman Marong, who was lying down, heard the familiar notification sound from Sue AE's webcomic site. He sat up, full of energy, ready to read. Finally, it was released. The smile on his face suddenly faltered. Wait, the title was Becoming the Black Rose of Versailles. Final episode. This is the final episode? He trembled. This is the final chapter. Impossible. He opened the comic, only to find 3 short sentences. Cindy, actually, I love you too. Gray died of breast cancer. Chairman Marong sat motionless, trying to process what he had just read. Sue E was soaking in the bathtub, thinking the phone on the rack probably wouldn't have any replies. The phone screen displayed a view notification, 1,033 views. Rattle 88 was the winner. Recalling the time she was reading, she had thought about how to confirm whether Rattle 88 had read it or not. She had checked the views of the webcomic before the final chapter was published. There were 1032 views at the time. She had organized an event for the 1,033rd viewer and then immediately uploaded it. View notification, 1,033 views. Rattle 88 is the winner. Just as she predicted, Rattle 88 had viewed it immediately. However, unlike usual, he always commented, but this time, he was silent. Sue, he poked her head out of the water, wondering, why didn't he comment? Could my prediction about Rattle 88 being Chairman Marong be wrong? Could Rattle 88 just be a loyal fan of mine? But there's also the possibility that this pitiful loyal reader was so shocked by Gray's death from breast cancer that he left without leaving any comments. If not, it could only be Chairman Marong. Thinking of this made Sue AE feel like she was going crazy. Lost in thought, she sank back into the water. I've made up my mind. If it's just a loyal fan, then this might just be an unfortunate ending. After all, the final chapter has been posted. But if Rattle 88 was Chairman Marong, just as she predicted, this was no different from a provocation to Sue E, the goldfish. Well said. Then come find me. He will definitely react to this kind of provocation, for example, by scooping her up with a net. Although a little scared, this was still what she wanted to do. No matter what, she had to find Chairman Marong. Despite her fear, Go Eun-hyuk was waiting for her. Sue E confidently resolved to win, which was why she said she could do it. Sue A.E. imagined herself negotiating with Chairman Marong. She slammed her hand on the table. I'm telling you, this is completely unfair. I think that this and that, she'd argue, laying out a few logical reasons, so that shouldn't be an exception. It's not that the heart count is 0, but there's a problem with the system. She envisioned herself dressed in a sharp business suit, pointing her finger at Chairman Marong. Therefore, you can't kill me, and you're not allowed to put Go Eun-hyuk in danger. Why should I accept your demands? Chairman Marong would ask. If you accept my terms, I'll give you a happy ending for Cindy, the Black Rose Girl. You're serious? Absolutely. Chairman Marong would relent. All right, I understand. It's settled then. I won't touch Go Eun-hyuk. Sue A.E. grinned with satisfaction. If the negotiation was successful, she could openly hold Go Eun-hyuk's hand without worrying about anything happening to him. Returning home, the room was pitch black. Passing by his desk, he noticed the computer was still on, 2 glasses of wine tipped over beside it. Dejected, he went back to his room, undressing. Sadly, the author didn't illustrate this scene in detail. He raised his hand, holding the lucky bracelet he'd seen while passing by the souvenir section of the convenience store earlier. It read, "Lucky bracelet. Good luck is sure to come for your friends and loved ones." When he left the library, he'd meant to give it to her, but he'd forgotten. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Sue E. Wait for me a little longer, Go Eun-hyuk. I suddenly feel like good luck is coming. He placed the lucky bracelet on a photo of him and Sue A.E., silently wishing her good luck. He gently stroked her face in the picture. Since he couldn't see her in person, this was all he could do. Even though he'd been looking at the photo for a long time, he still missed her terribly. Sue A.E. stepped out of the bathroom and saw Yu Lime coming home from school. Seeing Yu Lime's face, Sue A.E. asked, "Whoa, what happened to your face? There's a test tomorrow. What are you going to do?" Yu Lime asked, "Why are you being so nice?" Sue A.E. replied, "What?" Yu Lime asked directly, "Are you still worried about me? Don't misunderstand. It's not that I'm worried about you, but I'm worried your parents will be worried if they see you like this." Yu Lime seemed relieved. "Oh, is that so? Then you don't have to worry too much. Ulan brushed past Sue. Don't bother with such trivial things. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Worst case scenario, I'll just wear makeup to school. Oh, you really are a kind person. I definitely wasn't wrong about you. Good night, Ulan said, then went into her room. Sue stood there for a long moment. At Duwa's laundromat, Duwa said to the owner, I'm going to pick up the laundry. With that, he hopped on his Super Cub and sped off. 2 suits, 5 shirts, 1 sweater. Duwa muttered to himself, double-checking his list. He neatly arranged the clothes in his delivery bag and rang the doorbell. A voice from inside called out, Who is it? Laundry delivery, Duwa replied. 1 moment, please. Okay, Duva responde. Sorry, the voice said. I don't quite remember what I sent in. Come on in and get it yourself. Duwa froze, opening the door to find, unexpectedly, Go Eun-hyuk. What was going on? He quickly turned away, sweat beading on his forehead. Seeing Duwa awkwardly avert his gaze, as if his neck suddenly hurt, Eun-hyuk asked, Can you come in and get it? Don't wait. Why is he here? Duwa thought frantically. Eun-hyuk, receiving no verbal response, tried again. Hey, are you all right? Wait, hey what? Oh, right, the helmet. Duwa startled himself with his own internal monologue. He turned back to face Eun-hyuk. Yeah, there's no way he can recognize me with this on, he reassured himself. He nodded, and Eun-hyuk gestured him inside. Come in. Duwa followed him in, entering Eun-hyuk's laundry room. Duwa was stunned, truly stunned. The room was spacious and impeccably organized. Eun-hyuk touched his forehead. Sorry, could you remind me what I sent in? I'll find it and bring it right out for you. Duva jumped, fumbling in his pockets, then holding up his phone for Eun-hyuk to read the list himself. Eun-hyuk thought, why isn't he saying anything? He must be shy. 2 suits, 5 shirts, 1 coat. This must be it. He picked up the clothes, examining them closely. What's with the tie? I thought I was sending in my piano recital outfit or something. Eun-hyuk bid Duwa farewell. Be careful going home. Just then, something clicked. Wait a minute, that scooter. He recalled the other day, when he'd seen it parked outside the barbecue restaurant. Shim Soo-ae had been working there recently, and he remembered being surprised to see the familiar scooter from his usual dry cleaners so far from its usual location. Thinking back, the figure from behind, the unusual height and build, it all seemed strangely familiar. Eun-hyuk asked, When will I get my clothes back? Duwa, startled, finally spoke. Between 8 and 9 tomorrow morning, sir. Could you take off your helmet? I think I know you. Eun-hyuk glanced down, spotting the shoes Baek Duwa always wore. Duwa quickly refused. I'd rather not. Eun-hyuk's suspicions were confirmed. It is you, Baek Duwa. Why are you pretending not to know me? Well, we're not exactly close. All this sentimental talk is a bit much, don't you think? Duwa took off his helmet, wiping his brow as he spoke. Eun-hyuk was puzzled. Didn't you know this was my house? He thought incredulously. Is he crazy? Duva sighed. Knowing this, I wouldn't have come. You're the guy in the pig costume, aren't you? Double kill. Duwa froze, as if suddenly encased in concrete. Pig costume? Duwa stared blankly. What do you mean I look like a pig? Are you still half asleep? Eun-hyuk brushed aside the comment and pressed on. I'm asking if you're the one working at Yongnam Pork Cutlet House. Duva feigned surprise. Wow, I didn't know you cared about me so much. Seeing Duwa didn't deny it, Eun-hyuk knew he'd hit the mark. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll be going, Duwa said, hopping onto his scooter and speeding off, leaving Eun-hyuk standing there, watching him disappear. The friend Shim Soo-ae was helping. It was Baek Duwa all along? That's unexpected. Recalling Duwa's lack of explanation, Eun-hyuk figured it must be some kind of secret, but something bothered him. I heard his family is well off. Why would he be working 2 jobs at the same time? He's definitely different from the rumors. He remembered when Shim Soo-ae had seen him at Duwa's restaurant and frantically dragged him away. Even while wearing a pig costume, she did that. Was it to protect Baek Duwa? Eun-hyuk sighed. So they had a secret he wasn't privy to. Eun-hyuk wasn't the only one lost in thought. Duwa was too. He recalled Eun-hyuk's house, the long, dimly lit hallway, the light filtering into the living room through the glass doors, the laundry room that was probably bigger than Duwa's entire apartment. It made him feel a pang of envy, remembering the rumors of Eun-hyuk's wealthy background, the house everyone talked about as if it were a legend, the gold-plated mansion, practically a palace, that Duwa had never even seen. So this was the mansion everyone whispered about. Shame washed over him. The traffic light turned red. Duwa stopped his scooter, looking up at the apartment building overlooking the Han River. the most luxurious residential complex, the place rumored to be his home. The light reflected off the freshly cleaned glass, blindingly bright. Du var frånet, too bright. A year ago, a winter day before the start of his first high school semester. His new uniform still stiff. Duwa had moved here, a stranger in a strange land. His uncle, who was helping him move, asked, "You don't need any more clothes, right?" Even though it was a stranger's house, a strange school, living somewhere without any ties felt strangely liberating. "No, just bring this up for me." Duwa wanted a quiet life. He thought he shouldn't attract attention, just try to blend in. But in an instant, that promise to himself became meaningless. Just ask him. "No, but why me?" A classmate approached Duwa and asked, "Baek Duwa, do you really live in the apartment with the Han River view?" Baek Duwa, confused, Duwa asked his classmate to explain. "It's nothing, just someone said they saw you coming out of there." Unreachable expectations became an invisible burden. It was the cruel kind of expectation everyone had of him. They expected so much, and in reality, he couldn't fulfill even a tenth of it. He set himself up for disappointment. In the end, his true self became his weakness. Duwa really does have everything, someone said. What? He's practically penniless. He regretted that someone who seemed to have it all, like him, ended up with nothing simply because of his honesty. Yes, it was all an excuse. Duwa let them say whatever they wanted, offering no explanation. The noisy gossip swirling around him gave Duwa a headache. Even while walking down the street, he overheard people asking about him. But is that story about Baek Duwa living in the Han Riverview apartment a lie? Duwa paused, listening in. The other person replied, "No, I saw it with my own eyes." That day, she was walking down the street and saw Duwa coming out of the Han Riverview apartment. "Oh my God, Baek Duwa lives in the Han Riverview apartment? That's amazing." She immediately called her friend, saying, "Hey, I've got some hot gossip." Duwa's first thought was, "It's a good thing I was on my way to pick up the laundry. If they'd seen me carrying a pile of freshly laundered clothes, I'd be screwed." That was all he could think about at the time. The friend, sitting on the steps, said, "So why doesn't he answer?" "Hey, usually people who are that rich don't need to brag, I think." "I don't think that's it. Or maybe he just doesn't want to publicize his personal life. Haven't you noticed the things Duwa uses? Those Gold X shoes he's wearing cost 800,000 won. That's not cheap. So stop being jealous of him." "Jealous? Of what?" Duwa looked down at his shoes. There was a story behind them. At the laundromat, there was a fixed storage period for clothes, a 3-month limit from the date of laundering. If you didn't pick them up within 3 months, the laundromat wasn't responsible if your clothes went missing. "Sir, I'm leaving." "Duwa, wait a minute." "Yes." He turned around to look. The owner pulled out a box, saying, "I have to clear out the items that have passed their pickup date. There are a few things past their deadline. If you need anything, take it." "Really? Is that okay?" "Sure. I'm going to throw them out anyway. People in this neighborhood don't appreciate things. All these expensive items." Duwa spotted the shoes that fit him and took them. Duwa thought to himself, "I can't believe these are so expensive." Baek Duwa, do you live in the Han Riverview apartment? Duwa, can I come over to your place? Baek Duwa, is your mother really an actress? Duwa, are those real sneakers? They look great on you. Hey, Baek Duwa. Baek Duwa, are you buying today? You have so much money. Duwa, can I come over? I really want to see the Han Riverview. My house? Let's see, maybe next time. I don't really like people invading my personal space. Why are you asking? Do you want to come to my house? Don't cross the line. Duwa had never admitted to living in the Han Riverview apartment, so it wasn't a lie. It was just that their expectations of him were too high. They only wanted to see what they wanted to see. Duwa didn't deny this, because half the lie came from them, not from him. Duwa considered himself weak. He didn't want to lie. He hated lying. I'm home. Welcome back. You've worked hard. But he truly hated telling the truth more than death. Remembering back in high school, he and his 2 close friends often hung out together. Those senior girls came looking for you yesterday, you know? Seriously, do high school girls really think middle school boys look like men? You think Duwa just looks like a middle schooler? Isn't he on a whole other level? With looks like his, he could probably attract 20-year-olds. Duwa, how many confessions have you gotten this month? Confessions? I don't know. I'm too lazy to count. It doesn't really matter anyway. No way. But you have to admit, Duwa is the most handsome. Duwa said, why are you stating the obvious? Well, listen to this kid. You're hurting my feelings. Why would your feelings be hurt? I'm just telling the truth. Just get out of here, Eugene. I already told you Duwa is more handsome than you. What's with this crazy guy? Back in middle school, being an immature kid, I acted impulsively without thinking about the consequences. There were so many things I didn't understand. I had no idea that life sometimes requires lies, although not long after, I experienced that reality firsthand, not just in theory. Dua brought his friends home, cheerfully asking what they wanted to eat. But his two close friends were utterly shocked by his small, humble home. From then on, they began to distance themselves from him, simultaneously spreading rumors about his family's circumstances. The price of naivete was more bitter than he could have imagined. Korea was a country where money dictated consciousness. At the AKO Art Hall, the sound of a piano echoed. While music served as a kind of torture, Eun Hyuk endured his suffering. His parents sat side by side, intently watching the third-grade student's performance. His father sat not far away in the same row, a chilling presence. The bustling art hall was filled with people, and a tall figure stood there alone. Eun Hyuk's father called him over. "Eun Hyuk, come here. Greet everyone. This is my son." Eun Hyuk bowed his head and said, "Hello, everyone. This boy looks just like the professor, so handsome, just like him. Haha. Handsome, my foot." Eun Hyuk retreated, yielding the stage to his parents. "Oh dear, your tie is crooked. Let me fix it for you." Those around them couldn't help but express their admiration and envy, some unaware of how far things had gone, others simply brazen. In this play, they worked together seamlessly, appearing like a happy family. Only Eun Hyuk couldn't fully immerse himself in the role. He saw his third-grade teacher and her friend chatting happily. "Oh, it's Professor Go Tae-ho. Let's go say hello." "Hurry, there's no one around him right now." Ms. Joo-hee broke out in a cold sweat. "Right now." Eun Hyuk stepped forward. Her friend blushed, and Ms. Joo-hee glanced at him. "Hello, teacher. Look at Go Eun Hyuk, so dazzlingly handsome." Ms. Joo-hee's friend stammered, "What? I'm a student." "Oh, so you're Joo-hee's student. My children these days look so grown up. Hello there." Sensing the slightly tense atmosphere, the friend quickly pulled Ms. Joo-hee's hand. Well, we should get going then. "Come on, Joo-hee, let's go greet the professor." "Teacher," Eun Hyuk said sternly, "can I talk to you for a moment?" The friend, feeling awkward, wondered what was going on. Ms. Joo-hee, looking troubled, turned to her friend. "You go ahead. I'll say hello separately later." It seems like this young man has something to say. The other woman went over to greet Eun Hyuk's parents. "You'd better not show your face around me today. I can expect that much decency from you. Can I?" Melodious music filled the air. Eun Hyuk sat in the audience, listening to the music, his mind drifting back to his childhood. His father played the piano, his mother sitting on the sofa, happily watching them. The scene was harmonious and happy. Countless beautiful memories flooded back, causing him immense heartache. These were followed by bloody, violent images, with him as the victim. He saw his father entangled with another woman, his mother collapsing, kneeling on the ground, tears streaming down her face. Eun Hyuk's ear was injured. He witnessed the shattering of his happy family, his father's betrayal of his heartbroken mother. That shameless woman, Yulim's mother, was sitting right there in front of him. All of this weighed heavily on him, causing an unbearable mix of discomfort and pain. Eun Hyuk abruptly stood up and ran outside. His father sighed, watching Soo Ae-yeon widely. She slumped down languidly, as if boneless, mocking herself for even bothering to come and watch Yulim's performance. When she saw Eun Hyuk up ahead, her eyes lit up. "It's really interesting to see him here, but isn't this a bit dangerous?" Soo Ae asked worriedly. "Why is he here? He looks pretty cool in a suit, though." Her eyes softened as she looked at him. "What's wrong? What's his deal? He doesn't look well." Eun Hyuk closed his eyes, sweat pouring down his face, as if he were enduring something agonizing. He suddenly stood up and ran out. Seeing this, Soo Ae quickly told her parents, "I'm going to the restroom." Both her mother and father turned to look at her, confused. She seems to be in a real hurry. Who knows what she ate? Don't tell me you're having stomach problems too. No, I'm fine. How about you? I'm perfectly fine. Soo Ae went outside, searching everywhere for Eun Hyuk. She found him lying under a tree, his hand on his forehead, his expression unreadable. Soo Ae thought, is he crying? There were many reasons for Soo Ae not to approach Eun Hyuk at that moment, reasons to turn away and ignore him. But the sight of his chest heaving made her anxious and impatient. She worried that he really was crying, worried that she was abandoning him, leaving him alone. Unable to bear it, she slowly walked towards him. His eyes were closed. As Soo Ae drew closer, Eun Hyuk opened his eyes, saw her, and tears began to fall drop by drop from the corners of his eyes. Seeing Soo Ae's face, Eun-hyuk immediately sat up and stammered, "Yu, why are you here? Were you crying?" Soo Ae asked directly. Eun-hyuk was mortified that she had seen him in such a pathetic state. He quickly stood up, his face flushing crimson, and hastily wiped his tears, ready to run away again. Soo Ae grabbed Eun-hyuk's hand, pulling him back. "Why are you running away?" Eun-hyuk gave a strained laugh. "Ha," then slumped down, covering his face with his hands. He felt utterly humiliated. "I'm sleepy, that's all. You told me to stay away." "What the hell? You tell me to stay away, then you tell me to come with you, and now you're acting like this." Soo Ae sat down beside him. "Definitely. Shouldn't you be feeling lucky instead?" she asked. Eun-hyuk hesitantly reached out a hand, glancing at Soo Ae. Soo Ae said. "The no-contact rule is temporarily lifted." Eun-hyuk spoke with difficulty. "I don't want to go back in there. Everything in there is tearing me apart. It's making me so uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep at all last night." "That explains why you look so exhausted," Soo Ae replied. "You look like a ghost, with those dark circles under your eyes." Eun-hyuk glared at her. "I was just kidding. Don't be so serious." He managed a small smile. "Actually, you're partly to blame for my insomnia. Being here listening to the music with my mom and dad and his mistress, all in the same room, all three of them acting like nothing's wrong. It's driving me crazy. I keep telling myself it has nothing to do with me, to forget it, to erase it, but I can't. You know, the compliment I hear most often is that I look like my father. I wonder if I really am like him. That thought terrifies me, so I quit playing the piano. I don't want to be anything like him. I want to be different." He's had 3 other women, all of them piano players. First, someone he knew from college before I was born, then my piano tutor in middle school, and now his current mistress, who happens to be our music teacher. His taste really hasn't changed at all. If that's the case, he should have married someone like that from the beginning. Why did he have to marry my mother? Eun-hyuk turned to look at Soo Ae. "Sorry, I'm probably boring you." Soo Ae reached out and ruffled his hair. Eun-hyuk was surprised, then blushed, closing his eyes slowly, savoring the moment. "I can't control myself," Soo Ae thought. "I just instinctively reached out and ruffled his hair." The sound of leaves rustling in the wind filled the air. "Go, Eun-hyuk. Are you asleep?" The image of Eun-hyuk in my eyes is becoming clearer and clearer, so clear that it seems like it will never fade, no matter how much time passes. Eun-hyuk reached up, pulled her down by her neck, and kissed her. Soo Ae couldn't deny it. Eun-hyuk's presence in her life was becoming indelible, a mark that wouldn't easily erase. They kissed for a long time under the tree. The concert took a 20-minute intermission. Yulim walked down the hallway, looking out at the majestic view outside. She stopped dead in her tracks, her eyes widening in disbelief. Outside was a sight anyone would want to see, but for someone as jealous as her, it was like an atomic bomb detonating. She stood silently watching, her hands clenching into fists. Who kisses their own brother? She thought, disgusted. That's repulsive. It was her turn to perform. The music began, a haunting melody, as murmurs rippled through the audience. What's wrong with her? Soo Ae's mother, sensing something was amiss, turned to look at Soo Ae's father. It seems like she's forgotten her lines. After the performance ended, Yulim returned to the waiting room, furiously pulling out her sheet music, her mind flashing back to the music competition 4 years ago. She overheard people talking about Eun-hyuk, saying he wasn't just an ordinary middle school student, that his father was a piano professor at Korean National University. Another kid born with a silver spoon in his mouth, they'd said. Inherited talent. Born with a silver spoon. So enviable. She thought, like father, like son, how sickening, how disgusting. Why does God keep taking everything away from me? She threw the trophy in the trash. Even this doesn't belong to me. It's so frustrating. Eun-hyuk walked by, glancing back at her. In 9th grade, with her striking beauty, she attracted a lot of attention. You go to Gukwa High School, right? Can I get your number? She just glanced at the boy and turned away. It had to be said, she was quite arrogant. She got on the bus, leaving the boy grumbling below. So stuck-up crazy bitch. She muttered under her breath, crazy, and swiped her transit card, but the machine beeped, indicating insufficient funds. Panic began to set in. The bus driver asked, "Don't you have any cash, student?" Wait a minute, you two." Eun-hyuk stepped onto the bus from behind and paid for both of them. She turned around, watching as Eun-hyuk walked up and swiped his card twice. Their eyes met, and she thought, before she could thank him, Eun-hyuk quickly went to the back of the bus and sat down. She wondered if he was trying to get to know her like other boys, but why did he leave so quickly? A few days later, the rain poured relentlessly. Yulim ran to the bus stop, brushing the rain off her clothes. Suddenly, a voice spoke. "Here, take this." She took the umbrella Eun-hyuk offered. She recognized him as the boy from the bus. Eun-hyuk looked at Yulim, seeing she hadn't taken the umbrella, and pulled another yellow umbrella from his backpack. "I have an extra one," he said. Yulim thought he was strange. Why would he carry two umbrellas? They waited for the bus together, as if by fate. They kept running into each other. They met at the convenience store. Yulim spilled milk on her shirt, and Eun-hyuk, seeing this, handed her a tissue, then paid for his own items without asking her any questions. Yulim was truly puzzled. Why is he doing this? One day after school, it was already dark. Yulim was walking down the street, playing with her phone, when a drunk man staggered towards her. He was old and ugly, like a blind bear, and called out to Yulim, "Little girl, walk slowly. Don't go so fast. Don't break my heart." Yulim was startled and scared, but thankfully, the tall Eun-hyuk stepped in front of the drunk man. The drunk man quickly said, "Oh my, I'm sorry, I took the wrong way." Yulim found it very strange. Why didn't this boy ask for her number? A few days later, Yulim stood at the bus stop, staring at the route map to the Busan crematorium. Eun-hyuk arrived and plopped down on the seat at the bus stop. Hearing the movement, Yulim turned around and asked, "Can I borrow some money?" Eun-hyuk asked, "Why?" "It's my mom's birthday today, but I don't have enough money." On the way to her mother's crematorium, for the first time, Yulim thought of something other than her mother. She remembered Eun-hyuk's words, "Give my birthday wishes to your mom. I hope she has a happy day today." Then he gave Yulim the money. Yulim thought when a person passes away, their birthday is forgotten, only the anniversary of their death remains. Wishing a deceased person a happy birthday felt strange. So, her mother's birthday was always a very blurry day for Yulim. It wasn't a happy day, nor a sad day, nor any kind of day at all. Just a day. She felt so suffocated she didn't know what to do. Actually, she really wanted to wish her mother a happy birthday. For the first time, she went to her mother's crematorium and said, "Mom, happy birthday. I'm sorry I haven't said happy birthday to you all this time. Oh, and there's a kid who asked me to give you his birthday wishes. If you want to know who it is, well, I haven't asked his name yet." Yulim thought, "Oh, come to think of it, I still don't know his name." A year later, Yulim finally learned Go Eun-hyuk's name at the high school entrance ceremony. "Hello, Go Eun-hyuk. Not long after, I discovered we shared a secret. I'm sorry. I'll take good care of Lime in your place, father." Eun-hyuk stood before his mother's portrait and urn, speaking respectfully. When Yulim learned that Eun-hyuk might be her half-brother, she was thrilled, but soon realized it was just her own wishful thinking. Hey, I just came back from the administrative office. Eun-hyuk's parents are there, and they're both really good-looking. Plus, Eun-hyuk looks exactly like his dad, like a carbon copy. Yulim overheard her classmates talking outside the administrative office and felt a pang of discomfort in her chest. In reality, her mother was just the mistress, and she was just the illegitimate child. Now, she felt disappointed. Why? In the end, Eun-hyuk doesn't belong to me. It turns out I've been alone all along. It was so naive of me to be happy thinking I'd found a close relative. Eun-hyuk took off his tie. "Here, you can have this." Yulim happily accepted the tie, smiling. "Sui, I'll go first. Good luck." "Eun-hyuk, good luck to you too." Turning around, her expression changed. Pale-faced, Yulim texted Eun-hyuk, "I finished school at 10. Can you pick me up?" He picked me up and took me home. She boasted to Eun-hyuk with a smile. Inwardly, Yulim thought, now all of this is just a meaningless responsibility. It started to rain. Eun-hyuk didn't hesitate to run into the rain, picking Yulim up from the bus stop. Yulim said she wanted to visit her mother. Eun-hyuk asked, "Where are you?" "At the bus stop?" She replied, "Yeah. Wait there for me. I'll go with you." But why did he keep making her anticipate things? It was so frustrating. Or maybe, Yulim mused, I should just keep wallowing in this delusion, this foolish misunderstanding. Just keep him by my side, even though I constantly carry this guilt for no reason, and sometimes even feel regret. His anxious eyes always search mine. I just want to savor this feeling a little longer. If I keep going like this, at least I want to have that. She muttered under her breath. Again, why do you always want to take everything from me? Shim Su Ae ran into the hall. swinging the four-leaf clover bracelet Eun-hyuk had just given her, humming a tune as she went. The memory of their kiss lingered, a slow, drawn-out moment before they finally parted. "I missed you so much," Eun-hyuk had said. Sui hadn't moved right away, keeping a slight distance as their noses touched. "But we see each other at school all the time," she'd replied. Eun-hyuk rolled over, hovering above her. "Not like this," he whispered. "Being close to you like this." Sui grumbled. "I told you, we need to keep our distance for a while." Eun-hyuk pulled out a four-leaf clover keychain, dangling it in front of her. "They say these bring good luck," he explained, "but I didn't buy it because I believe that. I bought it because I wanted you to know I'm always rooting for you, no matter when or where. I meant to give it to you when we met." Her giggles filled the air. Sue walked on, her steps light, and noticed a trail of Chupa Chups lollipops, like a path beckoning her to follow. Curious, she followed the sweet trail, which led her to a church. Pushing open the door, she stepped inside, surprised to find a man in a veil kneeling in the front pew. It was Chairman Marong. He seemed furious, as if he deliberately sought her out. Sue had imagined meeting this man countless times, each scenario with a different approach and outcome. But one thing remained consistent. In her mind, he always had the look of a thug. Yet here he was, framed by shimmering blonde hair, strands catching the light, looking undeniably handsome. Suddenly, music began to play, as though someone had deliberately added a soundtrack. Speechless, Sue thought. "Wait, is there actually background music playing?" Chairman Marong gestured with his hand, signaling for the music to stop. It seemed he was in the middle of a wedding ceremony. He wasn't married yet. He turned, addressing her directly. "It seems you've been quite eager to meet me, Shim Sue. I hear you've gone to great lengths to find me." Sue closed her eyes briefly, thinking, asking me if I wanted to meet him? He's definitely not normal. As if reading her mind, Chairman Marong continued. "You seem to think I'm not normal. Your face says it all. Don't you think I look rather extraordinary?" Sue remained silent. He continued, his voice laced with self-satisfaction. "Well, I did dress up a bit. This white suit is Armani. The Mikado silk tie is Molinella's finest. Only 20 were made worldwide, mind you. Though I think the veil is a bit much, first impressions are important. Angelic, don't you think? Since we're in a church, I wanted to create a mystical atmosphere. In short, I wanted to look good for you as a fan. So, what do you think? Not bad, right?" Sue finally spoke. "It's you, isn't it? Shin Zich 88. Well, in short, I wanted to look good for you as a fan. What do you think? Pretty good, right?" Sue said. "It's you, isn't it? Shin Zich 88. Chairman Marang's face twisted in displeasure at being so accurately identified. The fallen angel glared at her with judgment in his eyes. "Chairman Marong, those accidents, they were all your doing, weren't they?" Chairman Marong bristled. "Are you interrogating me, girl? Isn't that a bit presumptuous? Why are you acting as if you're the only one who's angry? Who do you think should be angry right now?" Despite his angelic, benevolent face, he radiated a chilling aura, as if he could kill Sue at any moment. Denying her fear would be a lie, but necessity breeds ingenuity. She thought, there's one advantage to this awful situation. It can't possibly get any worse. Shua still Jose. Imagining herself on the edge of a cliff, with no way back, she had no choice but to fight the enemy before her. "So, why did you bring me here?" Sue asked. "Looking closely, it seems you do know what you've done wrong." Sue thought, "Look at what you did. Who drove me down this path? Don't play games with me," Sue threatened. "You came here because you want something from me." Chairman Marong looked incredulous. Had she just threatened him? His disbelief morphed into a chilling smirk. "Oh, this is rich. Am I threatened by a little girl? Unbelievable." He paused. "All right then, author. Why don't you rewrite the ending of Black Rose of Versailles?" "Why should I?" Sue countered. "You didn't like the ending?" "How I?" Chairman Marong scoffed. "Are you seriously asking me if I like the ending where Gray dies of breast cancer?" Damn, hearing it from someone else made the ending sound truly awful. Sue told herself, "Stay calm. Don't be afraid. Keep a natural expression. It all became so complicated, so wrong, and I didn't know how to fix it. I just slapped on an ending to be done with it." The bait was cast. Would he bite? The chairman's face twisted. "Slapped on?" Sue pressed on. I could have left it unfinished, but it bothered me. So I just wrote something to conclude it. The chairman erupted. That's ridiculous. Author Sue has no sense of responsibility whatsoever. He rose and loomed over her. You think you can just create a world, and when you get stuck, throw it away like trash? Frankly, I love the world you created, Sue. But it turns out the author is less sentimental than one of her readers. He leaned in, his voice low and menacing, utterly disappointing. So, what do you want me to do? Fix it one way or another. Untangle that mess and give it a proper ending. Or just throw it away, I don't care. But if you truly love your characters, you don't just kill them off. He'd taken the bait. Sue met his gaze, her expression resolute. You're right, there's no need to kill them. No reason at all. Fine, I'll rewrite the ending. So, you should reconsider as well. Don't think you can just dispose of me and everything will be fine. Chairman Marong smiled. All right, well then, shall we sit down first? At that moment, the manager walked in and nodded to Sue. Sue stared blankly at him, thinking, he's quite handsome, isn't he? He handed Sue a contract. Let's write it up. The contract. After signing the contract, Chairman Marong collapsed onto the sofa with a cigarette dangling from his lips and said to the manager, everything goes according to plan. A strange, uncomfortable feeling lingered in his chest, a feeling of defeat. The contract stipulated, first, Party A must respect Party B throughout the duration of the contract. Second, Party A must resolve the system error if it is likely to occur. Third, Party A must not threaten the life or cause harm to Party B until both parties reach a final outcome. Fourth, regarding the results of the experiment, if it is solely a system error, Party A may not arbitrarily handle the issue. The manager glanced over, thinking to himself, the feeling of defeat is because you gave a high school student a hard time, isn't it? You only offered 2 conditions, yet received countless conditions in return. Chairman Marong smoked, dazed, muttering, I should have worn all black. It would have looked more intimidating. That white outfit is too girly, and the veil too. Could that be the problem? Finally, the final exam results were out, and the teacher called each student's name to receive their report card. The exam was over, and so was the agonizing period of limited contact. Sue felt her spirit bloom. From now on, nothing could stand between them. Sue covered her mouth, giggling with delight. How do I tell Go Eun-hyuk that from now on, we don't have to limit our contact anymore? And then, how do I tell him we can finally date? The teacher called Shim Sue. Sue walked to the podium, grinning from ear to ear. Is today our first official day? Is that too cheesy? The teacher looked at Sue and asked, My, you seem very optimistic. Sue reached out with both hands to receive her report card, the smile still plastered on her face, her eyes crinkling into crescents, her cheeks flushed. She stepped down from the podium and glanced around, spotting Go Eun-hyuk surrounded by a group of friends. He was holding up 2 fingers in a V sign to the friend opposite him, beaming. The friend behind him commented, Crazy, you did so well. Whoa, Go Eun-hyuk, such a high score? Sue wrinkled her nose slightly, a surge of pride swelling in her chest. Her boyfriend was so amazing. Sue pulled her chair out and sat down, scolding herself internally. The mere thought of her own grades turned her to stone. Jean asked, What's wrong? What's wrong? What kind of score did you get to react like that? The boy next to her wailed dramatically. Why, I'm dead. If my mom finds out my score, she'll kill me. Everyone crowded around Jang Woo-sung. Hey, Jang Woo-sung, let us see your report card. Can I see it? Yeah, let's see. Kwang Min said. Kang Ah-jin, let's see your report card. Kang Ah-jin forced a smile. Hey Kwang Min, why do you always treat me like your rival? We should at least be on the same level to be considered rivals. Kwang Min defended himself. I'm just curious. You're the one who keeps saying things like that. Sue thought, I should be upset about my bad grades, but thinking about everything that's happened recently, the disastrous final exam scores don't seem so important anymore. Currently, the most important thing for Sue was how to pull off a historically romantic confession to Eun-hyuk. Jean asked, Are you that happy? Sue's heart skipped a beat. Huh? What? Jean said, I asked if you're that happy about going to the beach. You're smiling so brightly. The beach? Sue looked bewildered. What? You're not smiling because of that? I thought you were happy about the summer trip. Hearing this, Sue Ae's eyes lit up. Summer trip? Opportunity had knocked. At the end of the first semester, for various reasons, many small groups had formed. Minji started distancing herself from the group after the rumor about Sue Ae two-timing. Kong Min-woo also stopped coming to school after the semester ended. Someone yelled from the classroom door, "Hey, you won't believe this. Kong Min-woo transferred schools. There had been rumors about him transferring before. Seeing my friends and Go Eun-hyuk leave one by one felt like a build-up to the confession. Whoa, the ocean is so beautiful." Everyone excitedly ran towards the sea. Sue Ae smiled brightly, raising her phone to capture everyone playing together. They had become close, and there was one more person, a combination of class 11 to 1 and class 11 to 3, and that was Baek Do-hwa. Seeing Sue Ae taking his picture, he smiled and winked. You might be wondering why Baek Do-hwa appeared in this group. During class, everyone was discussing whether to go to Busan or Gangnam. If we're taking the train, Busan would be more convenient. But wouldn't Busan be crowded this time of year? But going to Gangnam without a car would be inconvenient. How about Saksho? The beach. Do-hwa approached, standing behind Sue Ae and asking. Sue Ae looked up and saw Baek Do-hwa. Ajin greeted him. Oh, long time no see. Baek Do-hwa. Hi, Duva. Sue Ae was bewildered. What? Why are you guys so close to him? Woo Song was even more enthusiastic, waving his hand and saying, "Welcome to the club. We're planning a one-day trip during summer vacation. You should come along." Yeah, come with us. Only Eun-hyuk's face darkened, as if a giant vat of vinegar had been poured over him from Vietnam. I could practically smell the vinegar from his house. Everyone was bewildered, like his pet dog, thinking, why is he making that face? Because he's jealous, because he's in love. Only Do-hwa seemed to understand the silent love war unfolding between them. He glanced indifferently at Eun-hyuk, then turned to ask Sue Ae, "Are you going too?" Sue Ae pointed at herself. "Me?" Sue Ae nodded. "Of course." Do-hwa looked tenderly at Sue Ae and smiled. "Then I'll go too." Eun-hyuk pursed his lips, his golden hair shimmering, and sniffed, feigning innocence. Woo Song said, "Well, we don't usually hang out with students from other classes, so we're making a special exception for you. Maybe you could call it the kindness of a library fan." Sue Ae asked curiously, "Library fan? What's that about?" Suddenly remembering Go Eun-hyuk, Woo Song turned and asked, "Go Eun-hyuk, are you coming too?" "Yeah, finally remembered me." He turned to look at Sue Ae. Sue Ae wondered, why does he keep staring at me? Before I confess, I absolutely have to keep it a secret that the no-contact order has been lifted. Sue Ae muttered, "Let's go together." Eun-hyuk blushed, receiving the signal from his sweetheart. He excitedly exclaimed, "Of course I'm going." He looked tenderly at his beloved, then shot a provocative glance at Do-hwa. Everyone played happily in the water. Sue Ae learned that Baek Do-hwa had run into her friends at the library a few times, which is how they all became friendly. This semester, Do-hwa went to the library looking for Sue Ae, and her friends told him, "Sue Ae isn't here." Sue Ae sat on the sand, smiling brightly. "Even so, you guys became friends pretty easily. It's just that Go Eun-hyuk isn't here yet." He said he was so excited about the trip that he couldn't sleep and ended up oversleeping. Go Eun-hyuk doesn't sound very believable. I want to see him. I want to tell him about this. Sue Ae picked up her phone to text Eun-hyuk. Actually, she wanted to tell him directly that the no-contact order had been lifted. At that moment, Do-hwa snatched Sue Ae's phone, setting it aside, took off his jacket, revealing a white tank top underneath, and asked Sue, "Why are you sitting here alone? Aren't you going to play in the water?" He tossed his jacket aside, took Sue Ae's hand, and said, "Let's go." Baek Do-hwa, I'm not mentally prepared yet. How should I put this? Whether I'm prepared or not, it's currently the hottest season of the year, and I'm preparing for the most passionate confession. Sue Ae choked on the water, nearly drowning. Haha, what's wrong? Duvalogid, looking at his bright smile, it felt like he was also very happy and joyful. 12:55 p.m., the train to Gangnam will be departing shortly, so please have your tickets ready for boarding. Eun-hyuk looked at his watch. It takes an hour to get to the train station and 10 minutes to walk from the station. If we leave now, we should get there quickly. He thought about Sue Ae's no-contact order. Sue Ae believed that if he got too close to her, he would be hurt. For this reason, Sue Ae was afraid to take the same train as him. Eun-hyuk concluded they had to take separate trains. Feeling guilty for oversleeping, he checked his messages from Sue Ae. Eun-hyuk opened the message and read, "Actually, I have something to tell you when I see you. The no-contact order is over. Come quickly. I miss you. He couldn't believe his eyes, rubbing them in disbelief. Then looked at his friends playing in the ocean. The authors getting lazy, drawing them like potatoes floating in the sea. Haha. Sui thought to herself. Even though my friends are enjoying their last summer vacation before senior year, oblivious to everything, I've already set a secret goal for this trip, to confess to Eun-hyuk. She opened a voice recording, playing the confession guide, listening and practicing along. The reason she didn't lift the no-contact order immediately, but waited until today was because she wanted to surprise him with a romantic confession during this trip, and also because she didn't want to bother him during his exam preparations. My goal is to give him a really cool confession, to thank him for silently waiting for me all this time. But lately, I've been so excited that I accidentally sent him a message. Anyway, there's still the surprise confession. Even though the plan went slightly off track, it's okay. It can still go smoothly. Soo Ae's confession strategy is as follows. Step 1. When night falls and everyone is asleep, I'll call Go Eun-hyuk outside around 11 p.m. Step 2. I'll wear the white dress I've carefully prepared, blending in with the colors of the sea. I've rehearsed this in my head countless times because, for today, I've spent all of this month's allowance. Step 3. We'll enjoy the fireworks display that's been prepared beforehand. Remember to set off the fireworks here, not too far from the lodging, where there are a few people, beautiful scenery, and a clear view. Step 4. We'll take a walk together to the predetermined location and casually say, let's sit down for a bit. Then we'll sit down. Step 5. After sitting down, I'll say, ahem, this song is nice, let's listen to it. Then we'll both put on earphones and listen to the romantic song I carefully chose. Step 6, which has been prepared in advance. When the romantic atmosphere spreads in the night, with the shimmering moonlight and the murmuring waves, I'll take out the prepared gift, express my feelings to him, and put on the wish bracelet, making a wish. If the bracelet breaks, the wish will come true. Good job, Soo-ae, my plan feels perfect. During my worst times, Go Eun-hyuk waited silently. Even though my request was confusing, without a clear explanation, and even forbade him from getting close. Even though it was unfair, he still waited silently. I couldn't help but wonder and be curious. But I understand he chose to remain silent because he was worried about me. My mission is to end his long wait in a very special way. I need a perfect confession. Soo-ae muttered as she walked. Go Eun-hyuk, I have something to tell you. Behind her, footsteps approached, and he hugged her from behind, burying his face in the crook of her neck. Soo-ae was startled, but quickly recognized Eun-hyuk. Her face flushed crimson as she called his name. Go Eun-hyuk. He tightened his grip around her waist, lifted his head, looked at her, and said, I thought I was going to die from missing you. I missed you like crazy. Blushing even deeper, Soo-ae turned around and said, wait a minute, this is a little too close. What are you doing? Let go of me. What if someone sees us? She pushed Eun-hyuk's face away, wanted to create some distance between them. Eun-hyuk pouted, but thick-skinned as he was, leaned close to Soo-ae's ear and asked, don't you have anything to say to me? Soo-ae, sweating nervously, replied, say what? Let go of me first. Eun-hyuk shamelessly nuzzled his face into the crook of her neck, as if he intended to fall asleep there. He fumbled, wanting to kiss Soo-ae's white neck. Such intimacy gave Soo-ae an unprecedented feeling. Her eyes sparkled, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. It was just that they seemed to be doing something sneaky, and she felt a little guilty, afraid of being discovered by her friends. Eun-hyuk said, you smell like the sea. Soo-ae turned around. Their eyes met, their faces very close, very close. Hearing this, Soo-ae panicked. What? Do I smell like dead fish? She frantically struggled, wanting to escape from Eun-hyuk's embrace, accidentally bumping into his chest, letting out a soft moan. Eun-hyuk's face darkened. He held her tightly, bowing his head with a pained expression. Soo-ae said in a panic, I'm sorry, are you okay? Eun-hyuk's eyes teared up from the pain. You're so mean, you know. My stomach. He looked up and saw Soo-ae pulling up her shirt, about to sniff herself to see if she really smelled like the sea. Eun-hyuk chuckled at her innocence. But what are you doing here all alone? Soo-ae waved her hand dismissively, embarrassed. It's nothing, just talking to myself. It's no big deal, just practicing my English listening skills. What? What did I just say? Eun-hyuk suspected he'd misheard. Practicing your English listening skills? Soo-ae quickly came up with a more plausible excuse. I'm listening to French music to improve my English listening skills. That's what it is. Eun-hyuk burst out laughing, remembering her dismal English test scores. Soo-yi felt a little prick of wounded pride. We're at the beach, and you're talking about studying? This isn't right. Do you realize how strange you're being? You just said you were practicing your English, and now you're contradicting yourself. Enough, I'm gonna go play. I'm leaving. Soo-yi's face burned, and hot tears welled up. So embarrassing. What am I even doing? Eun-hyuk took off his shoes and set his backpack aside. Hey Soo-yi, are you seriously leaving? Come play with me. He tossed his phone aside as well. Eun-hyuk resolutely scooped Soo-yi